Hmm.
Hello, welcome back to episode 7, I think. I'm losing track because I can't upload these consistently. Um, this week's
Loser.
guest with us is fuck you. This week's guest is Moth,
Hi.
famous from twitter.com.
Yeah, me and my 79 as of speaking followers, very
Yeah,
famous.
This dude doesn't have 30 porn bot followers.
I have
what
a
a
few.
loser.
I have way more on my Insta. Like, I have a much higher percentage of pornbot followers on Instagram and Tumblr.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, he got Tumblr clout.
On Tumblr, it's like on Tumblr, it's straight up like 98% of my followers are pornbots. I never fucking post on that shit. I think I've posted 2 things to Tumblr, one of which was the fucking unhinged ship art I made of
I
Pinhead.
remember that. That art's so good. Alright, well, today, I actually got a bunch of shit I personally want to talk about, but I'll open it up with the Nintendo Direct that was this 2 days ago. First of all, sure, fine, whatever, just jump to the mid, I guess.
Jump to the mid.
Jump to the mid.
Pikmin 4, you got a fucking Pikmin 4 gameplay trailer, which I wasn't fucking ready for.
Bro,
I
the
will-
entire
I-
cause when the direct was happening, I was getting out of school, right? I fucking look at that shit. I want to see like some Xenoblade shit. I saw the Pikmin shit. I'm like, ain't no fucking way. Nico won bit fast.
The thing is, I was expecting there to be some kind of update on Pikmin 4. I wasn't expecting a full gameplay trailer.
I wasn't
I
either.
wasn't that either.
I
I was low key like expecting it to be like the last thing that was probably gonna show.
I thought because like the time that they revealed it, forgive me if I'm remembering wrong, but they basically were just like, yeah, it's a thing. We're making it. And
Yeah.
they're gonna elaborate.
Yeah, that's
Didn't
it.
they have
Yeah.
the year? Didn't they have the year on it? Didn't they say
It said
2023?
2023.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they had a release. I was expecting like a more cinematic trailer, not a gameplay one.
I get
Like, just
what you're
gameplay.
saying.
Yeah.
However, if Pikmin 4 were in this, Breath of the Wild is the last thing they're showing. So Pikmin 4 is
Oh,
in this.
yeah.
It's not at the end. It is not at the end.
Yeah. Breath of the
It
Wild.
should be.
Or whatever. What is it called? Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
now?
Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. We know for a fact is in it because it comes out in a couple months.
Yeah,
So,
like there's
no
no way
shot.
they'll know. The thing that really surprised me was the fucking. I mean, it didn't surprise me that much, but I wasn't expecting it to go the direction it did. Is the Kirby, Return to Dreamland, remaster, with the Magalore epilogue, which
Yeah,
I'm
that
really
looks
looking forward
cool.
to. Because I was kind of on the fence on like I want to get it, but like it's just a remake of a game I really like, so I might not.
I already have it pre-ordered.
like-
loser.
Now with the Magalore epilogue, I'm like, oh, the lore.
A Kirby fan finds first
Yeah,
lore.
Kirby fan, I need the lore.
The Kirby fan for the lore.
Yeah, man.
Overall, that direct was like pretty cool.
It was a good one.
It was okay.
Also, fucking Birdo.
Yeah.
They're adding characters to Mario Kart finally.
Yeah, that
They're
was
fixing-
actually kind of crazy.
They're
Yeah.
fixing the shit roster that like holds Mario Kart 8 Deluxe from being like my favorite Mario Kart game. And they're fixing the goddamn roster.
I mean,
What were you gonna say?
it had light blue Yoshi, so it was basically perfect.
I mean, it had Shy Guy, which is better, like, because Wii is my favorite game, and
That's
like it
fair.
doesn't have Shy Guy. But
It's
the
But it
Deluxe
has
is
Funky
back.
Kong.
It does have Funky Kong. That's the thing. It has Funky Kong and it has Wii Rainbow Road, which Wii Rainbow Road is my favorite course in the series. Aside from maybe Maple Treeway, which now Deluxe does have. So,
Alright,
yeah,
time for me to talk about Pikmin.
Oh,
yeah.
Actually,
Have your
yeah.
Pikmin
Well,
moment.
I don't think anyone who's watched this podcast can tell I like Pikmin by the fucking
The
backdrop
limestone Pikmin you put.
of this back. Yeah, and the
You
limestone
like
Pikmin.
Like I truly was not expecting them to show like full on like a full on gameplay.
Yeah,
of Pikmin 4.
I assume they're showing that, and like at a later point they're gonna have like a breakdown trailer of like what the
Yeah,
game's
so
gonna
I
be
thought
like.
they were gonna show like maybe like a small cinematic trailer, like a teaser.
Right, yeah, because they showed all that, but like despite it looking good, none of it means shit because I don't know what's happening for a lot of it. Like
Even the
the
Pikmin
things.
experts don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm like, what? What are they? What? Why did we have a fucking dog that does the same thing Pikmin do? I don't
It
understand.
looked. It reminded me so much
Oh,
of the dog reminds me of Poochie from Yoshi's Woolly World,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
and it's like it looks similar, but it looks weirder.
Yeah, it's Pikmin-y. It's got a
Yeah,
fucking spore at the end of its tail.
yeah. It's isn't the ice Pikmin also is
Yeah,
that
they
new?
added the ice Pikmin, which I hope isn't the only new Pikmin they're adding because it's usually 2 new types per game. So I'm hoping that they're still just like hiding one.
Hiding it.
Because like I don't know, ice is cool and all, but like I don't want that to be the only new one. Like just ice.
And two. What were the
Two,
types on two?
two added white Pikmin and purple Pikmin. White Pikmin
Okay.
were basically faster, poison resistant, but also like lower defense. Um, and then purple Pikmin were really slow, but they had the attack like on hit attack power, like the strongest on hit attack power, and they had the carrying power of 10 Pikmin.
And then 3 added winged and rock, right?
Yeah, 3 added winged and rocked were basically just kind of fucking diet purple Pikmin. Like I really don't. I don't really. I'm sorry I'm sorry to rock, but like they don't really have much edge of on the purples other than the fact that
Sorry,
like they can't be crushed to death. That's their
sorry to any rock
yeah.
Pikmin, but
Sorry to any
truth is
rock heads
truth
out
here.
there. They are good for like
the
if you have
two
any
Rockhead things.
if you have any bosses that like their only attack is just crushing Pikmin, then use rocks because they can't be crushed. They are literally unkillable if you're fighting crush enemies. Um, but yeah, and then they added ice in this game, which I'm like, that's kind of cool. But like, I don't know. I'm a little. I find it weird that like, okay, so blue Pikmin can already go through water. They added this dog that can carry you and your Pikmin across water, and now you have the ice Pikmin that can freeze water. So I'm like, what, what's the point of the obstacles like with the
I'm
dog? And
guessing that
I'm just like,
I'm guessing the ice Pikmin being able to freeze water will probably be good for like certain puzzles.
that's what I'm imagining. 'Cause also, like, I don't know. Like, the thing is, like, you could usually just have winged or blue carry stuff over or through water. But I'm like, what's a situation where you'd want to freeze water to have Pikmin carry stuff across it, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess
I mean,
they'll
it might
come
be
up with
that.
stuff.
It could be something where you're actually need to solve a puzzle literally on top of the frozen
It
water.
could be. You might be right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like you need to either make ice to like make a platform,
Right.
or like you need to. There's like a bunch of shit on the water that you need to make
Yeah.
solid ground first.
Yeah. Remember that Pikmin's a puzzle game, so whatever mechanic they introduce has a purpose.
Right, of
Yeah.
course. And that's my other thing too is like, oh my god, this trailer like showed so much, but it only leaves me for speculation. But like, again, I hope there's another type that they just haven't shown. And of course, I know the box art has every Pikmin on it, but like, I hope that'll change. Like maybe they're just hiding it until they show it, and they'll be like, okay, we got this one last guy, kind of like the Smash Ultimate banner. They keep updating
Yeah.
it with the new characters added. I hope that's the case, even though the game's already up for pre-order. I'm just like, hold on, whoa, slow down, slow down. But my other
Wait,
thing was,
wait, the game's already up for pre-order?
yeah, I've been seeing links for like GameStop and
Jesus,
Target.
what
You
the
can
fuck?
pre-order it now, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, a
Already?
lot
Wow.
of games are out. A lot of
Damn,
games are
that's
out moving
fast.
around.
That's why I'm hoping we get a lot more info update because I'm like, I need to see more. Hold on. I'm not ready to pre-order
Nintendo's
just
been kind
yet.
of consistent with that when it comes to pre-orders for games.
Right.
Like usually around the second trailer, it's up for pre-order.
I mean, I'll definitely be
Consistent.
buying. This game comes out 11 days after
Yeah.
my birthday, so I think it was made for me.
All I gotta say is the famous quote that IGN said: 0 out of 10, too much water.
Yeah, too much.
I thought it was. I thought it was
7
like
out of 10.
7 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you might be right with the 6 point something. I just remember it being
I
near
think it was
7.
like 6.3 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think so. Yeah, pretty sure.
I just remember that in Sun and Moon, Game Freak referenced it with you could take pictures with the Rotom decks, and if you took a picture of like a beach or something, one of the comments that you could get was the IGN review score, too much water.
Too much water.
Which
Oh
is
my god, the
that's
team
a
of
really
memes.
funny like self-referential joke.
Yeah, it is.
But the other thing was there's a lot. I'm just gonna go down my whole list. I'm fucking ready. Um, the other thing in that trailer was like, so every game was like, okay, every new game was like, oh, Pikmin 1, you just fucking Olimar stranded on a planet. Pikmin 2, you can play as Olimar and Louis, so you have two characters to control, so you can tackle more tasks around the map. And then 3, you could control all 3 characters, and you could auto point characters to like run places while you were controlling another character, and then you could switch around so you could tackle multiple things with 3 squads. And this game, you do have. They showed 4 characters, but like the entirety of the trailer, you are only one of them, like by herself the whole time. So I'm kind of curious as to what that's gonna be about. If it's just gonna be a single player deal, or not single player, but like single character, like around the map, you only control one character, or what the other characters' roles are, as well as the fact that like they only showed one area, and it looked pretty big. Like they showed that backyard of some house, which also kind of confuses me because Pikmin's supposed to be in the so distant future that humanity's extinct, and that house looks in really good shape. Um,
Maybe
so
it's a prequel game.
yeah, that could be it. But
Maybe we experience how Earth got desolate.
this is
We see the mass
This was
extinction
right
again.
after. This was shortly after the extinction, so everything's still
Mhm.
good.
You get
Yeah.
to see the dog die then.
Yeah. The other thing was I'm wondering if there'll be, because every Pikmin game has multiple areas to explore, and this one just kind of showed the backyard, and then of course the return of dungeons. Dungeons were only a thing in Pikmin 2, and that they brought them back like exactly as is for 4. Like that was the exact same design. You fought they one of the bosses in the trailer was a Pikmin 2 boss. Um and so yeah, and it looks like I don't know how it's gonna work because every dungeon in Pikmin 2 in an area was different, but it looked like how it was in this trailer because there was multiple entry points you could see like in the background of the gameplay on the map. So I'm wondering if it's just gonna be one big dungeon like connected underneath this time, or if they're still gonna be doing the unique dungeon. I don't know. I have no way of telling, but I'm kind of interested to see because dungeons in Pikmin 2 are really really cool. The other thing was like again, they didn't show anything story wise, but like you had the big space shuttle, like a really big rocket that was like landed on the ground, but like your controlled character was like constantly moving around in like the little pod. So I'm really wondering what that all is all about. If you can like move around between multiple landing points in an area, and that's why you just take the pod, or if the big ship's stranded down there, and maybe you do like night gameplay because that was the thing they showed at the end of the trailer was you cut back to the world at night, and usually at night in every previous Pikmin game you just fly back up into the atmosphere because it's too dangerous to explore at night.
Yeah,
So I'm
that's what
wondering,
Olimar's final smash is in Smash Bros.
yeah, so I'm wondering if in this game we're gonna have some sort of night exploration where the enemies are stronger, more dangerous. There's a lot that could be done with this game, and that's what I'm most interested in. I'm really worried. The dog is cute. I like Ochi. Um, I just hope he like doesn't isn't like too big of a
He's not like a
crutch.
baby mode.
Yeah, that's the only thing I worry about because like he just kind of did a lot of the same shit that Pikmin did in the trailer, except for like sniffing out like lost civilians or whatever when he found one at one point in the trailer. So I have to wait and see. Again, the trailer was very limited in that scope, but I think the thing I'm most excited for is that when I looked under um the game info on Nintendo's website, the game's supposed to be 12 gigabytes. That's nearly twice the size that Pikmin 3 was.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty big.
I'm really happy because if that means the game's like bigger, there's more to do, that's what I really want. Because Pikmin 3, like after I played that game like more than any other game I think I've played in my life. And
Yeah, that's
I can
pretty
beat
big.
it really fast. I can 100% it really fast.
Maybe that's the
Um,
reason it took like 6 years for them to make.
yeah. But I hope 4 has a lot to do because that's just what I want to have. I want to have a lot. Like, this game took fucking forever. Okay, it took so long. I want there to be so much to explore, so much to
I was
find. I want
I
to see
was
be a
straight up
big game.
convinced the game was dead. I was convinced it like they had just silently canceled the project and hoped that people would someday forget.
I feel like they would have because there's just so many people who are
Wait,
like, oh, new Pikmin.
wait,
Okay,
wait. Silently canceling a project and hope people forget. You know what that reminds me of? Fucking Prime 4.
That's what I was
yeah.
gonna say. Yeah. But I think it's so. I saw because again I didn't watch the direct live. But I saw on
Yeah.
Twitter and on like YouTube and shit. People talking about there was the new Metroid Prime trailer. I was like, oh shit, did they actually? Like first they were Pikmin 4, now Metroid Prime 4, and then it was like, no, it's just a remake of Metroid Prime 1. And it's like,
Yeah,
damn.
I was just sitting there like when that like reveal happened. I was just like, wait, where the fuck is Prime 4? That shit, you know, this thing got announced like how many years ago?
It does raise a lot of questions.
Like I'm just sitting here just thinking to myself, what the fuck is taking so long now? They have no excuses. They quite literally just teased it. That's all you get. We're not
'Cause I
getting
was
it for
all,
another
it
15
was
years.
already a thing when like they released Dread, and it's like, oh, that's cool. They're releasing a more traditional Metroidvania Metroid.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going on with Prime. Like they haven't said anything about Prime, and that was announced way before
I don't
this.
know. I feel like
And
the
now they've
development for
remade
it is
Prime
like
1, and it's like, oh god, what the fuck is
yeah,
going on
yeah.
in that development room?
Like I definitely feel like the development for it is just like all over the place, super clunky. For all we know, but they don't have any info about that.
And you know what
We're
that
not gonna
means?
get any more Prime 4 news for another 15 years.
Good.
Yeah, shit is so weird.
But that means we could get Pikmin remasters, right?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, that's what it means because
I
the
actually
same
feel like that's
teams are
actually
working on the
likely.
same game.
I'm not talking about that team. I'm just talking about in life, in the world.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what it
that's
means.
the thing that really the reason that the Metroid Prime thing really gets to me, Liam. What you just mentioned about like, oh, it's not the same teams. Like, I'd assume that it is the same teams working on the remake.
That's what I was joking. Yeah, when Nico is like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is more Pikmin," like, yeah, that's what it means.
Well, I
Yeah,
still think
it's-
they could I think with it taking so long for 4 to come out and B last year being no, it was 2 years ago. 2021 was the 20th anniversary of Pikmin, so I feel like with 4 coming out in what 5 months, and it having taken so long and all the fucking remasters we've been getting, I feel like Pikmin 1 and 2 ports could happen. I'd really like them to happen on Switch. They'd be really easy to port into the Switch
I
too.
could see it. Yeah, I could see them making like a Pikmin collection of 1 through 3.
That's what we thought would happen with Metroid Prime.
That is,
It's
that's
happening.
true.
It's slowly
Yeah.
happening.
Happening? We don't know that.
Oh,
Wait, who just left the call?
it was Ash.
Uh-oh.
We gotta wait for him to come back. But anyways, I'm gonna finish my Pikmin rant. I'm very excited for 4. I'm skeptically excited. I mean, because again, there's still a lot I don't know. The game looks big. I hope it is big. I hope there's plenty to explore. I hope Dog doesn't like ruin the game. And I'm really curious because they're definitely that trailer was like very limited scope. They're like, okay, we brought back dungeons. You have this dog now. Here's some ice Pikmin. You're gonna explore something about night mode. Okay, bye. Like there's so much we do not know about Pikmin 4 still, but I guess that just leaves them room to
And
talk.
it is supposed to come out this year, right?
Yeah, in end of July.
July.
Oh wow, that's way sooner than I thought.
Yeah. So
I thought
but
it was
that
like
gives
a
them
December release.
time for another update. So I'm hoping we get.
There's going to be a trailer. A direct. We're going to have to get a near E3 that they're not going to show at E3 because they're not going to be there.
Yeah,
That's for doing stuff.
it's insane to me just how far E3 has fallen. Like,
Because all the big guys did the big capitalism move, but they were like, "Wait, we actually don't need this E3 thing."
yeah,
And then E3 was like, "Wait, yes, you do." And they're
Wait,
like,
guys,
"No, we
please."
don't."
it's like no, we could just do a big direct at the same exact time.
Yeah, Yeah, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo were just like, we can just do this ourselves.
We actually
Yeah.
got this.
We
I
have the
mean, you're
money.
right. They totally can. Like,
But
Yeah.
yep, that's the end of my Pikmin rant. I hope we get 1 and 2 ports, and I cannot wait to see how any future updates on 4. I'm fucking excited for that game. I played Pikmin 3. I played that game for the first time when I was fucking 13 years old. I'm going to be 22 when I play Pikmin 4.
god damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways,
Anyways, yep.
gamers.
Segue. Ashley, are you here? I can't hear you at all.
They're muted right now.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
I'm mute. You guys can talk about like Zelda or something.
Yeah, got
Yeah,
you.
I was gonna bring up the list of stuff. So
I've seen
aside from
people-
Pikmin 4, you go ahead.
I've seen people really unhappy with the Zelda trailer.
People are mostly because, in reference to what we just said about Pikmin, right? Talking about the Pikmin 4 trailer, the Zelda trailer showed even less, and that game comes out in May.
Yeah, and it's
It's
also
$70.
$70. The only thing I've seen people talk about positively is Matt Mercer as Ganondorf, which is pretty cool.
That was sick. I was pogging in my fucking chair. I saw that shit and I was like, what the fuck?
And I've seen so many people refer to it as Legend of Zelda Nuts and Bolts because of the fucking car.
Oh yeah.
And
that's a
it's
good one.
like, man,
Link
If I-
learns to
if
drive.
if the sequel to Breath of the Wild is like a Nuts and Bolts ripoff, that will be the funniest shit to me as like a non-Zelda fan.
Yeah, what's really funny about it is everything Nico just said about Pikmin 4 applies equally so to Tears of the Kingdom.
But-
it just looks like Breath of the Wild
Dude.
again.
Dude, that trailer is kind of disappointing. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just nothing was new.
It doesn't. Yeah, like nothing was new. Like you couldn't even add like any new war shit that we knew about. It was just the same shit that we got like a couple months back.
Yeah, it was the same shit we got a
Also,
couple months ago.
this is
and
a hot
that's
take.
scary.
Well, this probably isn't really a hot take, but I wish they you know that design that they used for Link for like a lot of the trailers until now.
Yeah.
I wish that was the main Link design that they actually used for the game, or like the default design.
Long hair, fucked up arm, like homeless Link looks way better than just Breath of the Wild Link. But again,
Because when I saw like that they're now mainly using like just Breath of the Wild Link, they have a different arm and like a cape and shit. I'm just like, that's lame.
Yeah,
How is it supposed to be a sequel to Breath of the Wild if you're not changing anything? It doesn't feel like it's changing anything besides, oh, we get to go in the air now. I'm just like, that's it.
Because like one of the cool things about Zelda is the fact that like Link, Zelda, and Ganon all get new designs with every game. Like because they're different incarnations. Like obviously with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's a bit different. But like
Yeah.
Yeah, there have been games where it's been the same Link, but it's like a very different experience to just like Zelda Ocarina of
It's
Time
like,
and Majora's Mask, right?
yeah.
There's
You know,
doing
like,
an entirely new thing with new mechanics. Tears of the Kingdom is not showing that yet,
Yeah.
and it's only 3 months out, so it's like they gotta show something.
Like, bro, nothing. That trailer was so disappointing, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't like super mad about it because I'm a Zelda fan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
It was
everyone
just
in
like-
my
I was
mother's already gonna buy it, but it's
I was just like, wow, that's it.
$70, man.
They saved it for last too, so I was just like, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, it makes perfect sense that they would. It's Legend of Zelda. It's like
Yeah, it makes sense. I just thought, man,
Yeah, in
Wow.
terms of like in a vacuum, comparing each like trailer to today, that direct, it
mhm.
sucked comparatively. Like the
Oh,
Pikmin
yeah.
one,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
was
gonna
like,
say it's better,
wow.
but it was there, and we didn't know what
Pikmin-
day
it makes
coming out.
sense why
Pikmin was better.
because like it was like
Yeah, Pikmin
Okay.
is in a
Zelda's like one of the
situation.
I was gonna say that, but I'm not a Pikmin fan. Didn't want to speak for you.
Pikmin is in a situation where, again, as someone who isn't super invested in Pikmin, but I feel like Pikmin is in a situation where any news on Pikmin 4 is a godsend. The
Oh, yeah,
best
absolutely.
truly imaginable.
Bro,
Because they were radio silent
Yeah,
for
yeah,
like 8 years.
I agree. That's what I was thinking. That's why I mentioned them. But yeah, and then Metroid Prime. At least they got a game, and it got released that day. That's insane.
Yeah.
What are some other shit? Fucking
Like, it definitely
Xenoblade.
comes off as compensation.
Xenoblade.
Yeah, Kirby with
high
the new
time.
shit. Fire Emblem. It is not cool. Once again, the DLC story sucks ass. It looks like again, but I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna be there.
Cause you're a Fire Emblem fan.
Yeah, I saw with the Kirby shit, I saw a theory, and I don't know if there's like, I haven't really looked through the trailer too much to know if there's like anything supporting this theory, but just an idea that I thought was both cool and also really funny
Yep.
is the idea that the Magalore epilogue takes place in what would basically be hell. And like it would be like 'cause Kirby's been
Oh,
doing
that's
shit
sick.
recently where like they keep making callbacks to previous games, and it would like the idea was that would be a really good way to call back to like previous games villains. Like bring in like Marks and like Dark Meta Knight and Galactonite, because they're all villains that have canonically died. And Magalore dies at the end of Return to Dreamland, and then it just kind of back in future games.
Yep.
So it's like that would kind of make sense. I don't think there's much evidence beyond it. Just kind of would make sense, but yeah. And it's partially
What was that
copium because I really want them to bring back Galactonite, but yeah.
So Xenoblade, you know what I'm saying? Bro, like funny story, right? I was like, I just got out of school, you know. I was like, I don't really care that much for this direct. I'm gonna just watch it anyways. I was walking and shit. I seen the Xenoblade like DLC trailer. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I guess it's whatever. It's like shit we already knew. That's got dynamite and shit. And I fucking just hear like fucking just saw Albus. I'm like, wait, is that fucking Sansa? I thought that for a second because I was like confused. I thought he was dead already. And then boom, choke, and then boom, big ass Rex. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I
Shit
seen
was
fucking
crazy.
Noah. Yeah, and then I seen Noah. He had the fade hair, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Do you want me to
How do you
explain what I think that was?
Wait, what'd you say?
I said I have a theory that I strongly believe. Well, everything that happened there.
Yeah. Let me hear it.
All right. So that Shulk, that okay. I have extremely fucking insane theories about everything the Xenoblade 3, and everything so far is just confirmed so far for me.
What's it? What is it?
That Shulk was a clone of Shulk. That's not Shulk. Yep, that's not Shulk.
Actually, that would make sense. Actually,
Yeah, homie's wearing the fucking Kavesi power things, the circles.
yeah, the circles.
And the Shulk statue, the one that looks identical to Shulk in the founder
then-
room. And
Yep.
this basically confirmed that we're playing as the founders. Said that guy, the guy that looked like identical to Shulk, and this guy looked identical to Shulk.
Lost an arm. Yeah,
No,
right.
not yet. We're getting into that one. We're talking about the first Shulk statue.
We're gonna get to that one.
Yeah,
Don't-
that's a surprise. That's a surprise tool. This dude is the Kavesi soldier. When you go into the founder room and you take a sharp right and you see the statue that looks just like Shulk with the goggles, that's the dude standing next to Rex in the trailer. Rex has yet to lose an eye. He's gonna lose an eye in this fight.
Oh, for sure.
He's gonna lose an eye in this fight, and he is in when you enter the founder room, the middle left. Middle right is the real Shulk. He's not there because I think he fucking dies.
I mean, it would make sense.
Isn't
I think
Shulk
you
like a
play with
literal-
him. Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't Shulk like literally like creation god, like Christian level?
Yeah, but he
No,
he uses his power at the end
Wrestling.
of Xenoblade to remove gods, basically.
Okay.
Like
Because I
King
was gonna
Power Life
say
was
like,
basically a vessel for a god
Yep.
that,
okay,
but then he became
fair.
his own god. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, he became his own
I was
god. Then he
gonna
was
say
like, "All
like
right,
how
this
the
world
hell
will
does
have
someone
no
like
more
that
gods."
die? But if he
Okay. Here's how he dies. The guy that's his weapon, okay? The
huh?
guy that's his weapon is a supercomputer that basically is one of third of the people that built the entire place that all the worlds they live in and shit. The trailer revealed that he decides to become evil now. We don't know
Oh,
why. He's evil now. And if there's anyone who can beat Shulk and any of the other protagonist guys, it's this dude. This is the guy.
I mean that
Before
makes
this,
sense, I
though,
guess.
he was not evil. He was kind of a neutral dude. He was just like, yeah, I'm all about that balance and shit. Well, apparently, like, something happened.
Always like never played sides. He's always like a neutral person.
Yep. Yeah, he was all about basically upkeep, not keeping like, the peace necessarily, but like the state of the world, you know? If anything were to
Yeah,
threaten that, he'd like intervene and be like,
it's
That
funny
feels
too because I was
very
basically like basically fuck you, Claus. I'm finna go to this world. Fucking dip.
Yep.
that feels very near automata, like in concept.
Yeah, similar vibes. The Xeno series in general is very similar to that vibe.
Oh
Yeah.
brother, bro, this is like the least confusing Xeno
Yeah.
like story shit. Like,
Yeah, this
like
is
if you
pretty
I've
straightforward.
I've heard. Look, Xenoblade is an RPG made in Japan. It's gonna have a fucking insane storyline. That's just par for the
It's
course.
either really simple or really insane, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, to continue, Shulk,
Yeah.
that Shulk that we saw in the trailer looks exactly like Shulk at the end of Xenoblade 1 and Future Connected, yada yada yada
Yeah,
yada.
'cause the thing I also noticed, right? He has
Yep.
the little turtleneck, and I was
Yeah.
like, wait, where the hell did he get his turtleneck again? I thought he like just completely switched his future connected outfit, unless he Oh shit! Actually, oh shit! Yeah, hold
Yeah,
on, hold on.
and
I didn't
that
realize
Rex is
that.
that Rex is time skipped too. That Rex is older, and he fits the description of the Rex statue to a T minus the
And he has the
eye.
same outfit, like
Yep,
the
same
exact
outfit,
same
same
outfit. Too.
outfit. Everything he does matches it.
Another thing I also
So,
noticed about the that statue is that
yeah,
the statue had like longer hair for Shulk. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, does he have longer hair?
he's
Because I
missing.
seen in the trailer he didn't have
Yeah,
long hair, so I was just like, wait,
yeah.
what?
We didn't get to see long hair Shulk, and that was intentional because long hair Shulk is the real Shulk. And that
Yeah,
Shulk is a clone of him. And I think that the Agnes soldier, because it's an Agnes
yeah.
founder and a Kavesi founder. I have no idea. This is a shot in the fucking
Okay.
dark.
This is where I come in. This is where I come in.
Oh, okay, I was about to say
Okay.
I
I know
have a
you.
strong idea, but it's
Yeah.
really out there.
Okay, so I know you haven't played Xenogears.
I
So
played
I mean, this.
Xenogears, not Saga.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, from what like, because Hagashi loves to reference Xenogears and pretty much every other Xeno thing
Yes.
um, ever. So I think like if this story is a prequel, which could be the case, it could be just a mixture of both prequel and sequel. But if it is a prequel, it is definitely the first or potentially the first carnation of I guess Noah in the in Ionios before getting reincarnated again and again and again. Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
okay, you're talking about that statue,
yeah,
the
like I think
Phphon
that's
one.
my theory. Yeah, the face. Literally fake. Literally, he literally
Fake.
has the exact clean cut of fake.
That one we know is Van Damme, which is its own bag of like own can of worms.
Yeah,
Whatever the fuck.
that's like really confusing because it's just like, why does he look like Noah then?
Yeah, well,
It's
I
like,
think he's Noah's son, and he starts the Van Damme line.
yeah, it has to be something like that because that would be like a whole. Oh, well, actually, I feel like that would explain maybe the reincarnation thing. I don't know.
I think he's
Like,
Noah's. So remember the first city and how In destroyed that?
yep. Wait. Also, yeah, that too. It could potentially be like Noah's son that he
Yeah.
left in the woods.
I think that guy is Noah's son, and he starts the Van Damme line there. I don't know
That
why he
would
gets
make
the Van
sense.
Damme name because Rex is obviously alive, and where the
Yeah.
connections in that line? Maybe he's just descended from actual Rex Van Damme. We don't know, but I think
Yeah, because we
he
already know how like much Rex loved Van Damme and Xeno 1. So like
yep
it will make sense that you want to like follow after him.
yep. And I don't know who the
That
granddad is. I heard a crack fucking head theory that that real Shulk was the granddad, and I don't agree with that. But I do think he
Yeah,
dies
no,
because they
yeah.
didn't show him, and that seemed like the final stand. Like they were fighting Elvis final stand kind of thing right there.
Yeah.
And so I think the last people of the founders that are left right in that shot we saw are Rex and Clone Shulk.
Clone show.
That's what it looks like to
Cause
me. Or
yeah,
they're
cause
hiding all the party members behind them.
I had like a incredibly basic bitch theory about like the whole founders and shit. Obviously the quote unquote Faye person
Yep.
obviously is similar to Van Damme. It could be, it couldn't. That's why I'm still on the middle ground. Cause I it's like it's so confusing. I genuinely don't know. But if it is, then it will make sense. The person with the cat ears is
Yeah,
either the first incarnation of Mia,
yep.
or it's one of Rex's daughters.
Yeah,
Because we do know that he has a child with Mia, so it would make sense.
that's what I think it is.
Um,
I think
here,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
I was
because
gonna
like
say
I
you go.
I think this sounds way more like something Takahashi would actually write. Meanwhile, I had like a basic bitch theory that like the person that we saw that was quote unquote people thought was dumb man. I personally knew that the whole like Shulk statue that it probably wasn't Shulk just because this is Takahashi. I don't trust Takahashi with anything.
Yep.
He would somehow be able to twist it. So like my theory after watching that trailer was like, okay, so the Dun Man person that's Shulk, and
Yep.
maybe this guy is like Shulk's son or some shit. Because he had to have a son with a Fiora, maybe time down the line, depending on how old he is in that trailer. That was my like theory, but now I kind of like discard that. I'm like, nah, Takahashi would probably like make him a clone or some shit. That makes way
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah, we know that two of the founders are Kavesi and Agnes. So and this is
Yeah.
for City 2 because in Destroyed City 1 and the seven founders founded City 2. So I think Noah's son is the Van Damme guy. The Kavesi statue is a clone of Shulk. I think I don't think I'm pretty sure the general consensus is still that Kavesi and Agnes people are clones. So clone of
Yeah,
Shulk.
that would make sense.
Yeah, clone of yeah. My theory is that what's his face Z used the and Mobius used the what's it called guy. I don't know why I'm
Origin?
blanking. The fucking big circle robot thing. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. What is
Oh
it?
yeah,
What
it's
is it
Origin.
called?
Yeah, Origin.
Yeah, Origin. Yeah. Used Origin because it was supposed to reset the worlds. They used all that data to instead just continually reset in the current world, and they just kept
Yep.
cloning people using that. So the Kavesi soldier founder is Shulk. I think the Agnes soldier founder, I think that's a clone of Numa.
Oh, okay. That yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah, the Kavesi and Agnes soldier were discovered when they were battling each other, and I think it's supposed to be symbolic of like Xenoblade 1 world versus Xenoblade 2 world. And then I think like everyone else finds them and they're like, "Yo, join us."
That and we have to like have something to also explain why the Kavesis also have core crystals. Obviously, they're all descendants of blades in some form, but how did
Yep.
that start in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
Because without reproduction. So, yeah, that does make sense.
I think you're totally right on the cat girl
Yeah.
statue being something relating to like Rex's
It
family.
has to be like Rex family related.
Yep.
There's no way it's not.
And I think a Vandam statue is Noah's son.
Then it's obviously would just be a reincarnation, like or the first carnation of Mia. Pretty much, I guess Noah being the first carnation. It can really be either or. I really do see it being like that's Rex's daughter or something, And
Yep.
obviously Noah's the first incarnation of someone, but he's not related to maybe anyone, for all we
Yep.
know. And then they got together and blah blah blah, reincarnation, shit like that.
Yep.
And that's why Neo and Nia have such a strong connection. And Nia's side, Hero Quest. Yeah. I could see that.
Yep. And then the other two, it is important to note that the Rex and Shulk statues, like the older versions of them,
Yeah.
they are not the founder. They so we're gonna have like two, I think, NPC characters. They don't join the party and fight. They will be
Yeah.
the actual founders, but Rex and Shulk will be part of the 6-person party. It'll be Noah's son Van Dam, the actual Neo, Rex, Shulk, clone of Numa, maybe someone else. But I saw the core crystal. It matched, the hair matched, the outfit matched. I was like, that's fucking Numa. They can't fucking trick me. That's Numa wearing Agnes
Oh yeah,
clothes.
that would make sense.
That's what I doubled down on it there.
Although I am very curious, like for one thing about Numa, since Takahashi already has to explain this anyway, because Xenoblade 2 like ending was a bit confusing in this department.
Yep.
Because Pyro and Mythic, they no longer have their core crystals
Yeah, they don't.
a part of them. And we all know from that picture that they actually did look like slightly older than what they were at the end of the game. And
Yeah, I
Alva's
think
the only
that's-
one with his core crystal.
Yeah, I think
So
that's why
I'm
Elvis
very-
is able to do that. What he's doing is because he's the only one left.
He's literally the only one left. Like Mouse is dead, Pyramithra, they're alive. I wonder if they can still fuse, but we'll have to see. It'll probably be like some like shit where they
Like
fuse
Dragon
because
Ball.
of like Goku from the beginning or some shit.
Like Dragon Ball.
The fucking Dragon Ball.
Well, like my big takeaway from this, like this is like the first thing I think that came to my mind when like we heard about Elvis, because I don't know if you know this, but like from the art books and Monado Archive, we knew that Elvis he decided to be in this little silly goofy mood.
Yeah.
He took the Monado and Zohar actually. I'm pretty sure that's what he Takahashi stated. It was or he referenced it. He didn't like outright state it, but he basically stated it. But it was like Elvis, like he took it and he just like decided to be in a silly goofy mood, travel around the Xenoverse. And I was like, what's he cooking?
What is
cooking
Elvis?
with Elvis?
What's Elvis's plan here? What is his in him? Does he know?
My biggest theory, I think a lot of people already seen this already, that
Yeah.
like Elvis, because of Shulk wishing for no more gods, Elvis decides to like make that choice. Because like damn, how do I describe this? I saw a good comment about this actually. Wait, look in general,
Yeah.
because I can't describe this, but he basically like summed it up perfectly. This is what I was trying to tell like the people in McDonald's about maybe Alvis's like big plan or why Xenoblade 3 is the way it is. Because again, Shulk's like the ending of Shulk's entire journey in Xenoblade 1 directly ties into like the consequences of Xenoblade 3. I knew this already, but I knew they weren't gonna actually reveal it because Takahashi likes to do this thing. He did this with Xenoblade 2, where obviously it has lore implications, but he doesn't want to actually like tie that in there because he like again Takahashi, he makes all the Xenoblade games to be like the first game that anyone can start with, which is why he didn't make as many references in 3. Because he wanted it to have his own identity. He did that with 2 as well, but you get what I mean. But yeah, basically, because of Shulk wishing for no more gods, Alvis is basically just following Shulk's orders, is what I think gets the consensus.
Oh shit! Wait! That's so cool. And I think if real Shulk, actually does die in the DLC story, that it would come full circle because there's no one to stop Elvis. Then I think the only person he'd listen to may be Shulk.
Yeah, like, and plus, we've already known from the whole existence of Origin that not having an actual god to be able to balance out all this power, especially with the Zohar still running loose, that you need a god in order to do this. But by Albus following Shulk's orders of there being no gods, he's basically going to try to make some kind of big mass genocide towards anyone who tries to confront that ideology. That's at least my theory about it. and this is not even just on entirely on Hulk's fault. This also probably also ties into Rex's ending in Xenoblade 2 with the Zohar. Yeah, they're basically both at fault here for sure. And I hope that this like the DLC actually like touches on that, explaining that even though like they had good endings, that not everything just went all perfect because of them being like the bad guy and shit. I really hope they do that.
Yeah, it's am I allowed to say a technical near replicant spoiler?
I don't care. I'm not spoiler tagging any of this.
Okay.
Well, you did announce it, so if anyone
Yeah.
cares, they could skip.
I don't
it's like
care. I'm never playing that game again.
it's like when it's like calling protagonist near the fucking the like world destroyer or something. Like we can start calling
Shadow Lord?
no, not the Shadow Lord. Like you know, his title is Destroyer of Worlds and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's because that's what he actually does inadvertently through his quest. That's basically what
Yeah.
Shulk and Rex did.
Yeah,
You
by
just start
helping
calling
the
them
world, they indirectly doomed it.
yeah. Instead of saving the world, they just doomed it.
Because again, these gods exist for a reason. Klaus and Zonza, they exist for a reason. They help keep balance between the two worlds without them fully clashing together. And that's what Xenoblade 3's entire conflict was all about. How you need these kinds of gods in order to run this kind of system. And obviously, the future is good, but Xenoblade 3 clashes that ideology by saying, well, what happens when you live in the endless now, or the fear of the future? Because with the origin being a thing that clashed into both worlds and people seeing the origin, that's where it was at its most powerful because people fear them dying to the origin. And that all ties back with Shulk and Rex. And I was like, this is perfect. Oh, God. I love Xenoblade.
I don't.
This is like all the shit we got off of like a fucking 30-second like teaser trailer. Like, oh man, when they drop like a full trailer, it's gonna be insane.
I'm gonna
We
go
have
crazy.
So,
I've already seen a guy that did like a fucking hour, 20-minute video just talking about the 30-second teaser. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Oh man.
so the takeaway is, I need to finish Definitive Edition
Yes.
You need to finish it.
How do you not?
because I have 30 other games that I'm halfway done.
How dare you?
Yeah,
I'm,
what's
I'm,
all
I'm,
this
I'm joking.
backlog?
I'm sorry, bro. I got like I think I'm almost at the halfway point for Resident Evil 2. I'm at the end. I'm nearing the end of Ragnarok. I'm like definitely halfway through Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, definitely.
Jesus.
He says.
I have to be. I've done the first 2 islands.
Okay.
Yeah, halfway. Yeah.
Uh. Anyways,
Anyways,
other
segue.
yeah. You got some?
hmm So as we know, I think most of us know, my semester is dog shit. It's really
Yes.
bad. I am like,
Wait, what the? It's been a while since I've had an actual conversation with you. What the fuck's going on?
okay, so I'm learning the valuable lesson that not all credit hours were created equally.
I
And
see.
despite having 5 classes in 17 hours last semester, and this semester I have 5 classes in 16 hours, this semester is ramming a giant dildo right up my ass. Um, and like I have been so busy, like I've had barely any time to just like relax. Anytime I do get to relax is like the evenings before bed, and it's been hard to keep up, and like so far exams have gone okay except Japanese. I got a 67 on my first exam. Anyways, I've had like a lot of like all my weekends have been studying and or doing papers, and my only breaks on the weekends have been like seeing movies with Liam. Um so I've been really stressed, but this is gonna be like a partial trauma dump. Not really trauma, but so like I think everyone, well, Liam and Ash, you know, I don't think Moth, you know. So I had this literature professor, in fall of my sophomore year, who I took a modern. He taught modern like 21st century literature, which I had to take for a gen ed requirement. Um, and he was really cool. His class structure was really nice. You know, you just come in, read the pages he assigns, talk about the book, go home, and you know he never had any really assignments other than a final paper. But we had 4 books that semester, and one of the 4 we read was a comic book. An entire unit about comics and how they're their own type of literacy. He believes. And he had us read Batman Long Halloween, and I had a lot of fun with that, and it made me start wanting to read more comics in general,
Yeah,
which
I
I
remember
did.
this, yeah.
And basically, he was like, "Okay, well, at the end of the semester, like, I don't know, he he was he's an interesting guy. Like, he canceled class a lot. Like, there were a lot of classes where he just canceled because he's like, I overslept, or I just don't, I cannot make it to the fuck. I don't want to come in this morning."
Honestly,
And
pretty good.
you know, he gave us like all this. I have it recorded on my phone, but he gave us this like big, you know, on the last day of class, like, you know, okay, guys, you know, here's some life advice. Here's things to look forward to. You know, don't always, you know, be too worried about school. At the end of the day, we're all human, and I'm just like, man, this guy doesn't feel like a professor. He just feels like a real person. And I was like, all
He's
right,
actually super.
yeah. So and he's also a huge fucking superhero comic nerd. Because like when we did that Batman unit, he fucking brought in like his stack of Batman and Superman comics, and he was like, "All right, guys." So and he'll like talk to us for like 20 minutes in class, like about fucking different artists and authors for Batman and other comics, and then he'll talk to us for 10 minutes about how Superman for All Seasons is his favorite superhero comic of all time. Um, and I started stopping by his office as of last semester just to say hi to him because I just like talking to him. He's like really cool, really chill. He's very passionate. Like very. He feels like he's like the only teacher I've had at Clemson that's like, you know, someone I would just want to chat with.
Fun.
Yeah, those are the
Yeah.
best professors.
And I've been coming back, and then basically during my weeks, I'm fucking stressed every class I'm in, and like I'm on campus for a lot of hours this semester. So any days I get to stop by and chat with him are good days because it's relaxing, it's nice. Even though usually he'll talk my ear off, I don't mind it because I always enjoy what he has to tell me. Like today, like last time I met with him, I think it was Monday, and he was like, you know, we talked about a lot of shit like the new James Gunn DCU lineup. He told me all about fucking more comic shit. He's like, okay, you got your fucking, you know, your paperbacks, you got your hardbacks, you got your omnibus, you got a fucking absolute, which are like these kind of bigger hardback comics with like extra content in them. And he was like, I just pre-ordered the Superman for All Seasons Absolute coming out later this year, and I'm so fucking excited. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. And he would just talk my ear off. I would like try to get more words in, but I usually couldn't. He just kind of goes on, but I don't really mind it. And today I met with him. Today was a fun conversation. He talked about we mostly just talked about movie stuff. Because I was talking about my JP film class and um movies I'd seen lately, and then he started telling me about how he used to when he was younger, like in the 90s. Yeah, because the conversation went from movies to him talking about like I was like Pokemon, Dragon Ball, and he was like, man, or yeah, my JP film class, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, and he was like, I used to work at a comic shop in the like early 90s. He worked at a comic shop during the day, and he worked at a movie theater at night. And like around when like Pokemon was getting more popular, like they were fucking selling cards like like hotcakes, like so much, like even to the point where like they would get fucking untranslated Japanese cards and they would just like sell out immediately. And he was like, and
Wow.
I used all the money we made selling those Pokemon cards, and I bought a car.
Yeah. He makes so much money off of selling cards every night.
He was like, they made so much fucking money. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. And then he was like, he also told me this is the most interesting one. He told me because then we got on the subject of movie theaters, and I was like, oh yeah, I've been watching a lot of movies this year with my roommate. going to see them in theaters, and then he was like, "Man, theaters really changed a lot." He's like, back when I used to work at one, in the '90s. He's like, I remember when the 1990s Ninja Turtles movie came out, the first one, and he was working there, and he was like, I remember that movie, the Friday night, and he was like, the line for that movie was like all the way from the fucking theater, like down the block, past several buildings, around a grocery
Yeah.
store. Like everyone wanted to see the fucking Ninja Turtles movie, and they also had like a sweepstake going on where like first 100 people to buy a ticket got a free turtle plushie. And he remembered when the last one sold out, and like people after the other people online were pissed. They were angry they couldn't get their Ninja Turtle plushie. I was like, oh man. And he was like, it was crazy. Like he told me, like again back before had bigger because that was when there were like what 1 to 2 screens per theater, and you didn't have
Yep.
like purchasing tickets ahead of time or anything. And he was like, we would just keep in, they would a lot of companies would just re-release movies because people didn't really have home DVD or streaming, so people would often come back to see movies again. He was like, when we had Jurassic Park in our theater, we kept that shit we kept that playing for like, I don't know if it was his theater or another theater in town, but there was one popular movie. It was either Star Wars, Jurassic Park, one of those types. But they're like, we kept playing that movie for 70 weeks because people would just keep coming to see it. And they had the poster that they had put up for it was like so worn down. And he went to his boss and he was like, "Hey boss, the Jurassic Park poster is kind of getting torn. It's been up there for a long time." And he's like, "Well, are any of the customers complaining?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, well, if they start complaining, then you come talk to me. But otherwise, the poster's fine." And he
That
was
definitely
it's-
sounds like Jurassic Park.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
the funniest part is like, he's like, I walk into my boss's office, and because we didn't, all the tickets were like paid for with cash and everything at the
Yeah.
time. His boss's office was just stacks of cash around the desk, and they'd have to fucking tie them up with the rubber bands and everything. They were just making so much money off of the blockbusters, as they just kept. If they were successful, they would just keep being released back into theaters because it was only like a fucking $2 to $3 for a ticket.
Yep.
And people just kept coming, and I was like, man, it's really blockbusters really had a whole other meaning during that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because streaming services weren't a thing.
Yep.
They used to be a lot cheaper too.
Oh yeah.
That first Ninja Turtle movie, the first Ninja Turtles movie was like humongous at the time for
Yeah.
kids. Like I'm not even like exaggerating, bro. Like at the time, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest, I guess, solo production film at the time. Like it didn't
Right.
have like any like third party company like helping it. I'm pretty sure at the time, it was the biggest. I forgot what it got surpassed by recently, but it did get surpassed. But at the time, and it kept that title for like years of being like the biggest solo production like film at the time.
Right.
That shit was crazy, bro.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
man,
I was
it's
surprised.
super believable to believe that it's either Jurassic Park or Star Wars,
Oh
because
yeah.
at those times, those movies were humongous. Like any Star Wars film in general, to be honest.
Mhm.
And Jurassic Park, I don't think I have to like explain why Jurassic Park was so big. Like Jesus, 70 times.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
70 weeks. Like there were some
Like,
movies that were
70 weeks is
kept in there for a long
crazy.
time, and even
I've
like what,
never heard of it before.
even
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
God, what Top Gun last year was in theaters for like a long time by like today's standards, and that still didn't even come close to fucking Jurassic Park or whatever movie it was. Like Top Gun was in theaters for maybe what 5 months after it came out, which is pretty long, but holy shit. Not over a year.
Like, dog. No, bro. When you said 70 weeks, I actually like fucking like froze for a second. I was like, ain't no
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, it was
way.
there a while.
70 weeks is insane. No man would love Drat. Bro, just like the fucking Captain Marvel dude all over
It
again.
was because just yeah, People just kept coming to see it, and so it just kept making enough money that they could renew its theater
Oh,
stay.
bro. If
And
social media was a thing, bro, that shit would be so fucking funny,
I
bro.
know,
I went to
right?
go see Jurassic Park again this week.
Yeah, I loved it even more than the last 4 times.
Oh, bro, your teacher sounds so cool, bro.
He's
Me and him would
just
be best friends.
He's the best, except for the days where he cancels on me, but I don't blame him for that. I just get really sad because I'm like, damn, I wanted to stop by. Like, I just like, even though I don't get a lot of word in, because like he's just so passionate. Like, man, he can go on and on. You ask him about comic books, he'll fucking have you there for an hour, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
bro, like you told me about the comic books thing. I think remember you texted me about it. I was just sitting here like, wow, this guy actually knows his shit.
oh, he knows his
Like,
shit. He
bro, it
absolutely
was
knows his
like,
shit.
he probably knows more shit than me, and that's saying something.
Yeah, we had a whole
Like that's insane.
He had a whole Batman segment today where he talked about the '60s show, which is the one he grew up with as a kid.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
like it was such
I love.
whiplash for him because he grew up in the '70s and that show was airing, right? And so that was his first
Yeah,
exposure to Batman. So like when he watched that, he watched that, and then his second Batman media was the Tim Burton one, and
yo, Tim, Bur-
he
yo,
just
yo,
got
yo, yo.
he got huge whiplash because he was like, this is nothing like the fucking
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Adam
yeah, yeah.
West one.
Bro. I have to tell you this. That's actually the case for like most people. For Batman during that period, like they were so used to the camp of like the Batman show that when they got to the Tim Burton movie, they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he was after the Tim Burton movie. He was like, I guess I got to start reading these comics.
Never went back.
Yeah, he never went back, and then he found
Oh my
Superman.
God, this is so funny, bro.
It's fucking
Oh my God.
hilarious. I think my other favorite. He also told me about the other interesting with the movie stuff was he told me how like with re-releases how Disney, I don't remember what time was, Cold War time, and they were like Disney was releasing like these fucking military-esque
Yeah,
animations with Donald and shit like
shit
that,
with
and
Donald. Yeah,
then but it wasn't making a lot of money, and so like they were losing money actually, and I think it was Walt's brother who was like, okay, just on a whim, he was like, what if we re-released a classic movie, right? Like Snow White. So it would have been like 30 years later or something. So they re-released
yeah,
Snow White to theaters, and it just like did had like double the success of its original release. So that's how they like came to start re-releasing later animation in theaters, and they made so much money off of it. It kind of like brought them back
yeah.
from
Pretty
almost
much.
bankruptcy. And I'm like, that makes sense because a lot of those like I forget how old a lot of the Disney animated movies are, and I'm like, how did they stay relevant for a long time? And I'm like, oh, I guess it's because of the like later decade re-releases in theaters, and then eventually they made their way to home video.
Well, we all know the two reasons why they stay relevant for so long: the re-releases and Disney.
Yeah.
Like Disney World, Disneyland.
Oh yeah,
Disney
definitely.
World and Disneyland alone is the main reason I 1,000% think that like that amusement park alone is the reason why they also stayed so big. And just their movies, like, because here's the thing, right? If you re-release your movies while also having and showing new attractions to your theme park,
Mm-hmm.
then you're probably making like double the money. They
Oh
definitely have
yeah.
a strategy.
And
And I was,
Disney World has an old history too.
yeah, there's a lot of
It's
stuff
kind of
about
cool.
Disney.
I like the I want to say I don't know how to say it, history of it. That's why I
Yeah, the
probably
more like stuff you learn about Disney, the more like it's so fascinating. Especially if you learn about the original stories that Disney are actually telling. It's like super fascinating to learn about.
right.
I remember my first one was like Pinocchio. Bro, well, thinking
Yeah.
about this shit is hilarious, bro. I remember like I seen the Pinocchio movie. I think it was like I was so fascinated by the character of Pinocchio. I was like, I think I like looked up videos and shit about this, like the original story of Pinocchio. Just seen a thumbnail of Pinocchio hanging himself. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, the original Pinocchio story is insane, bro. I was like,
a lot of the
what?
original ones are super fucked
Yeah.
up. Like,
Yeah, a lot of the original Disney stories are wild. I was just like, yo. Oh, bro. Nah, bro, that's forever ingrained into my mind because that like scared the fuck out of me. Pinocchio hanging himself. Like,
yeah, it's
oh,
insane.
bro.
Like,
Oh, bro, that made me laugh way too hard
Even
thinking
just
about it.
seeing Pinocchio turn into a donkey as a kid just fucked me up alone. That scene
Yeah.
was
and that scene was
wild to
scary.
me. Yeah, right? I was fucking terrified as a kid. I was like, what's happening to him?
Oh, bro, I remember I was always so confused as a kid why the fuck Pinocchio was in Shrek. That I had no idea what the hell and a domain. I forgot how you say it. And a
Public domain.
domain. Yeah, public domain. I didn't know what the hell that was. So my like me as a kid, my dumb brain, I just thought that the Disney Pinocchio just grew up and just came to Shrek.
Disney would never have allowed Shrek to use
That's
one of their
I like that
characters.
headcanon though. That shit's really funny.
That's really funny. But like,
I was
God,
like,
And then
one
sometimes
of my favorite bits of
yeah,
Shrek trivia is that it was originally made literally as a like as a spiteful call out towards Disney.
yeah. Oh my god, bro! I really want to watch the first Shrek movie again, bro. That
It's
shit
good.
was hilarious. The
we
second
should
one's
one
even
day.
better, bro. God,
Mm.
bro.
Speaking of,
Oh,
I'm so mad. I haven't had a good chance to watch the new Puss in Boots
You
yet.
really have to.
I know
It's insanely good.
I've heard exclusively, not even just good stuff about it, but like I've heard that it's like one of the best animated films made in years. Like
Yeah,
like it's actually
it is.
it looks amazing. I just haven't had the time to.
It
Gotta
might
get
be
some time to go out, bro. I always make time for movies.
it's either second or in tie with Shrek 2 as like my favorite like Shrek verse, like
Oh
movie.
yeah, it's
One of the
definitely right
things that
next to
makes
Shrek 2.
one of the things that
Because
makes
like
me
Shrek
really
2 was
sad.
so fucking funny. And Puss in
Yeah.
Boots is just so good. I don't
One of the
know.
things that made me really sad is that because I go to an art college, there was a event where there was a free showing of Last Wish with a Q&A from the director afterwards, but
Oh,
that shit got like booked in like an hour of being announced at most. Like it was
yeah, that
insane
makes sense.
how fast people like flocked to that. Like I really wanted to, but it was like yeah,
Right.
I was
Like,
not
yeah,
fast enough.
I feel like everyone is genuinely shocked by how successful like Puss in Boots 2 was.
Yeah, because the
Like even
first
I
Puss in
was not
Boots was
expecting it to be that big.
the first Puss in Boots was such a nothing movie.
It was so obscure because well, people liked the Puss in Boots, but it was just like it was just kind of like whatever movie.
I mean, it was like a cute
And then,
story. It just didn't stand out at all.
Yeah,
yeah,
I completely like slept on Last Wish when it was just the trailers. Like I
yeah,
did not
same.
give that I did not give it like any thought, and then I heard it once it came out. I heard people being like, "This is a fucking amazing movie." I'm like, wait, what?
Like when I saw the Last Wish trailers, I was like, yeah, this animation's amazing. I don't know if I could trust DreamWorks enough to want to go see this movie. I'll probably just wait. Maybe when it comes to like a streaming service or something, because I didn't really have my hopes up super high for animation stuff. But I was completely, I was completely
Yeah.
wrong.
I love
Entirely wrong.
I love animation. Like I'm a big animation nerd, but like
Yeah, same.
I just because Puss in Boots, like you guys said, the original was just kind of like whatever. It was a very
Yeah,
like mediocre movie. Like it wasn't necessarily bad. It was just
it
like
wasn't bad. It was still good. It was just
it was
kind of
very
okay. Like
very
it
it
was
was
just
very
the true
middling.
definition of mid. Not in the
Yeah,
negative way. Like it's literally mid. Like it's literally mid.
yeah. And so like
Mediocre.
I just was like, yeah, like I might see that at some point, but I don't want to spend money or time to go out of my way to see it. But
Yeah.
then like now I'm like, oh man, I really gotta make some time to see it at some
You
point.
do, but especially before it leaves theaters, you have to.
Yeah. God, yeah, I gotta
Wow.
check and see if there's any theaters around that are still showing it.
Because I was just genuinely shocked by how good it was.
I'm
I
same.
I truly was not expecting for it to be as good as it actually was. Like it's definitely easy contender for like Shrek 2. I wouldn't be surprised if someone put it over Shrek 2. I'll be honest, but I have it like near Shrek 2, or they're like neck and neck. Because Shrek
Right.
2 is hilarious to me. That shit is still funny to me to this day. And Last Wish just has like a super amazing story. Well, they both have amazing stories and good comics.
Nothing will ever beat the fairy godmother's cover of "I Need a Hero."
Oh my god! Oh my god, bro!
It's so
Like,
good.
can we just talk about Shrek for a second, bro? Oh my god! I just I
This is the
I like
Shrek
the
cast
idea of
now.
everyone just thinking that it was like these movies are underrated masterpieces.
Hi, welcome back
They're
to
genuinely
the
good.
the
Shrek
Shrek
is a
cast.
good Shrek is a good movie franchise. It's had its ups and downs, but like overall, it's
Shrek the
really
Third.
good.
Yeah, it's actually
Shrek
been
the
mostly consistent.
Yeah, like
Which is
Shrek the Third is
insane.
a bit of a dip. The original Puss in Boots is a bit of a dip, but like
Yeah,
The best part of Shrek the Third
1, 2, and
was
4 are all really good. Last Wish is phenomenal. Like,
yeah, it's been mostly hits compared to misses.
mhm.
best part of
What are you
Shrek.
gonna say, Nico?
Best part of Shrek the Third was Do the Roar.
I don't even remember Shrek the Third at any level. Like it is. I don't know if I ever even saw that one.
It barely is in my
It
memory
wasn't very
now.
good. It's kind of forgettable.
Um,
Like
you know what what's a funny thing I saw actually? I saw like I think it was like a post on like TikTok or something. I was like, Puss in Boots at this point is the Better Call Saul of the Shrek universe. And I was like,
yeah.
that is such a perfect way of putting it. I've literally
God.
I've never heard anyone put it that way. That's
Yeah,
actually the perfect way to
I
put
was
it.
gonna say that's insane, but it's kind of true.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The funny part too, when I was like younger, like really, really young, I saw Shrek 2. Puss in Boots was my favorite character, not because he was like funny like Donkey, but just because he looked it cool. That was the only reason.
I
I
mean,
was like, oh shit, this cat has boots and a sword.
hell yeah, man.
Like that was me as a kid. And then I didn't like this motherfucker guy's own movie, so I was like, yeah. I was so happy. And then, bro, nah, bro. Now let me tell you the lore, the Puss in Boots McDonald's lore, bro. I'm gonna break it
Oh,
down.
I
Yeah,
am
bro.
always a fan of lore.
They,
So.
they had McDonald's toys for Puss in Boots, right? I
Mhm.
was like, let's go, bro. I'm happy because my parents would get me a Happy Meal or something, right?
Yeah.
You had no idea the frustration on my face when I pulled that fucking egg from the toy. Because
Humpty
okay, if you know
Dumpty.
anything about me, the egg I genuinely despise the egg in
You fucking hate him.
the first movie. I
Wait,
genuinely despise. Like I hate everything about him. His character design, his character art. Like,
wasn't it? Forget
oh,
what in Shrek Super Slam, was it Humpty Dumpty? Like I can't remember if he was really good or really bad. I know he was on one end of the tier list.
oh my god.
He was either the I know Red Riding Hood was the best character in the game. Like
Oh my god,
by an
bro! I
insane
gotta watch
amount.
that video again. Talking about fucking like Shrek.
I
Shrek.
don't remember if Humpty Dumpty was like just below Red Riding Hood or like the worst character in the game. He was one
Oh
or the
god.
other.
I forgot to. I'm honestly probably about to like rewatch some of those videos because those shits were hilarious to me. Oh, but yeah, back to the lore. I pulled that. I was so frustrated because this bitch just looked so damn ugly. Like I just didn't want them. And then all my other siblings, so I got like 4 other siblings. They all pull either Kitty, and I think my bigger brother he pulled Puss in Boots himself.
The man.
The frustration on my face was wild that day, bro. I was actually so sad. I didn't even get any of the cats. I didn't even get Puss in Boots himself, bro. I had to do so many things to get those fucking toys. But I wanted them. I didn't want the egg, or at least have the trio from the movie. After like I think it was like 2 months. 2 months after, finally got them all. I didn't even like the movie like that when I was younger. I just thought Puss in Boots looked cool. And that's the lore. And ever since then, I still hate Humpty Dumpty to this day. It still has not changed. No, I even rewatched Puss in Boots 1, actually, I think a couple weeks back, after I watched Last Wish. I was just like, oh, wait, no. I rewatched it because the entire movie was just on TikTok. And I was like, what the fuck? It just uploaded the entire movie? Well, I'm about to sit here and rewatch it. I still don't like Humpty Dumpty. Oh my god. There's something about him. Why does he look so ugly? Look at him.
He is
I
a
was
bit
thinking that
devious.
makes me mad. Oh my god, I'm such a hater for him. It's like the third time I talked about how much I hate Humpty Dumpty. It's insane. Oh man. Oh my god.
Speaking of animation,
Nice segue.
Excellent segue.
Go on.
and there's a certain show. No recency bias, but I think
Mid.
Ashy should really watch this show.
Is it the
No,
one
well,
I think
actually,
it is?
Nico.
Nico,
I
is it the one I think it
2
is?
episodes.
Is it the one you think it is, Moth?
Yeah, is it the one that we watched the finale of together?
Is it one we watched the finale of together?
Or is it another one?
Or is it
I
another
genuinely
one?
don't know.
It's the one that you're thinking of. It's the one you're thinking of.
The frogs.
It's
This
the
is part of
frogs.
what
It's the frogs.
Yeah.
Ashy.
You should watch Amphibia.
I've only seen
Ericus.
2 episodes.
Ericus,
And it was like random episodes.
you must
on
watch
TV.
The
more
first
episodes,
season, the
Eric.
first bit of season 1 is
Yeah.
it's not bad, but it doesn't
funny.
sell you until like the end of season 1 and like
Yeah.
the start of season 2.
Season
That's
two's
when it
good.
gets really, really good. Because as it was coming out, I was
Mhm.
watching it for a bit, but then I didn't have Disney Plus at the time, so I didn't. It was really hard for me to keep track of it, and I eventually just fell off of it. And then when season 2 ended, I was just going through social media, and I saw people talking about the finale. And I'm not going to spoil what happens in the finale, but I got spoiled on what happened in season 2.
I'm so
And I
sorry.
saw what happened, and I was like, "What the fuck? Hold on, what happened in this show while I was gone?"
Oh my
So
god.
and at that point, I had Disney Plus, so I was like, I went back and rewatched the whole series, got to the season
Yeah.
2 finale, and was like, "Holy shit! This show is so good. Why have I not why did I stop watching it?"
Oh my god.
It's really good.
Yeah, I actually heard about both Amphibia and Howell House before they even like aired. I specifically remembered Disney wanted to have more shows similar to Gravity Falls, like tackling
Yeah.
shows that deal with dark themes but also being lighthearted. They wanted more shows like that, which is why like Amphibia and Howell House both got greenlit. It. Here's the only issue though. A lot of people got very confused on which was which just because it was like, okay, from the promotional art from before these shows came out, they had a very similar concept. So anytime when
Yeah.
like people would talk about these shows, or like when the first like couple episodes aired, people would always get them constantly mixed up due to them having like similarities. And I was like, I told myself, yeah, I'll definitely watch these. Like I'm a cartoon fan, I'm always gonna watch them. I never got around to it. I forgot why. I was pretty busy at the time. I think COVID
Yeah,
started
That's
like-
all
fair.
that.
That's fair.
Both of the shows still get compared a lot because I mean, like it's
They
kind
are-
of easy to understand why because they both
They're
are
very
shows that came out at around the same time. Were both made by Gravity Falls alumni and
Yep.
feature a female main protagonist getting isekai'd to another dimension with like
Which is why I was like, yeah, it
Yeah,
makes sense
and-
why he would have these like mixed up.
they're very different shows. Like in
Very
I-
different shows with
feeling.
very similar concepts.
yeah,
But
and,
they deliver. They both deliver very different messages, though,
yeah.
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
Um,
I appreciate that a ton.
Mhm.
I fucking love Amphibia's message so much. It's so good.
God,
It's really
bruh.
good.
Makes me, yeah, I definitely have to watch
There's
it,
even
bruh.
more
But-
similarities that between the two shows, but we couldn't talk about them because they are spoilers.
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah,
there's
Look,
But
I only
you,
seen one whole image of I guess it was a spoiler, but I don't know if Liam wants to watch it or not.
Oh, what spoiler?
But
Amphibia, I'm guessing, or Owl
I-
House.
I'll just like spoiler tag it in general,
Okay.
just because I was laughing at this.
Uh,
I'm about to send it.
Thank you, Nico, for rotating Sprig.
I think
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that is.
Yeah, that's
When I
But,
saw this, I
but
was laughing so hard. I'm like, what the fuck happened to this shit?
that was one of the
Yeah,
things
yeah,
that I
yeah.
saw. Yeah, and it's like
but yeah, I saw that
it
too
doesn't
beforehand. But
actually.
I never saw the how of it. Like when I got
Yeah, I
Yeah,
spoiled
never
on it.
saw the how of it. I've only just seen an out of context image
You
compared it to
need to
Goku.
watch. The
And I
how is
was
so
laughing.
cool.
The
You need
how
to
is
watch
good.
it.
It
You
it
need
has
to
a lot
watch.
of. It's
I
something
am
where it's a feature where on one hand, if you aren't paying attention, it feels like it comes out of nowhere.
But it's
But
yeah.
if you are
it's
paying
built up
attention,
quite a bit. You just have to kind of know what you're looking for.
you have to
Which
pay
I'm
attention.
excited for because I love lore. I
Mhm.
love
The
Yeah,
lore
oh
in
yeah,
the show is
there's
really
a,
good.
lore.
It's
there's a
pretty
lot of
good.
lore.
I love lore. Being a
I
Xeno fan,
I will-
it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
we've watched. I watched Owl House. I had Eric watch Owl House.
Yep.
He
Binged it.
loved that. He loved that a ton. And then it
I
wasn't.
love our house.
And
Our
then
house is perfect. Probably some of the best Disney Channel shit that they've ever made
it's
in a
good. I
minute.
really like Owl House.
and then
I
after
But Amphibia, I'm curious. Yeah.
Amphibia, because I watched Amphibia. I started it like after Owl House with my friend. She put me on Owl House and she put me on Amphibia. But I didn't get far into Amphibia because I was only watching it with her. I didn't watch it on my own time. And then B,
Yeah.
college started, so I never finished season 2 because I had to come back to college. So then I only picked up season 2 again a month ago because I was like, because the Owl House special was coming up, and I was like, all right, I'll go to. No, it was this after the Owl House special? It was okay. It was around the Owl House special, so I was like, damn, I want to scratch that Owl House itch. Maybe I'll get back on Amphibia, and so I got back on. I binge finished season 2, and like I don't know, my inner being just ascended to like the astral plane upon
It's so
finishing
good.
season 2, and I got this. It scratched the same itch that Owl House and Gravity Falls did. And my brain
I
was filled with
really
serotonin.
I really
like
slept on Owl House at the start. Like the
if
first few episodes didn't hook me, but I'm really glad that I gave it another chance because it's good. It's good. It's really good.
like I don't know if you know this, but when Nico like watched Amphibia, bro added me at least 3 times talking about how good it is. And I was like, yeah, damn.
You had
It's
So
because
good.
I know we both love Owl House, and it gives you this. It's the same shit.
It's very.
It's the same
It has
feeling. It
similar
gives you
vibes.
the same like feeling of like excitement. It's like
Yeah.
really cool.
And I was like, damn, Nico, you gotta do me like this. You put
It's
put me
worth
in
it.
my feelings again
It's
over
worth it.
over cartoon
Yeah.
again.
It's
Oh, bro, I cried. Like I watched the Amphibia season 3 finale with Moth and Call. I was crying real tears.
so good.
It's the finale just was so incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like you told me. I was like,
I'm so glad we're out of that era of like animated shows having the shittiest fucking finales. Because
yeah,
I'm trying to remember what all they were. Like it was a bunch at like
Steven
around the same time that
Universe,
just had Steven
Star
Universe,
versus.
Star vs. the Forces of Evil, uh,
oh
Gumball, and
god, Star
Adventure.
versus the Forces of Evil.
Yeah.
Oh my
Gumball and
goodness.
Adventure Time to a lesser degree. A lot of people really hate Gumball's ending. I think that in context it works well. But I get
It
why
was
people
only supposed to be
don't
set
like
up
it.
for a movie,
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks is that it was supposed to be set up for a
and
movie. But the movie like is in
and a
hell
lot of
right now.
people really hate Teen Titans ending. But here's the thing that I think like nobody ever talks about when it comes to Teen Titans. That was always the planned ending. There was no
What
plan or
are you
like
talking about
full
the
plan for season
original?
6. Yeah, original.
Yeah, because
Um,
what happened with the original, I thought, was that they had the series finale in like season
yeah,
3 or whatever, and then they got
yeah,
greenlit for another season without any warning, and they're like, "Oh fuck." And
Yeah,
then
and,
after season 4, they just didn't get greenlit again. So they didn't write
and
a full finale because they were like, we have no idea if we're gonna get greenlit for
that,
another season now.
even in the last season, there's like a full episode where literally every single Teen Titan like team up together to fight.
Mhm.
So even if you don't like Teen Titans' actual finale, you could just literally put that as your
Yeah.
own headcanon as
Oh,
that
yeah.
being the finale.
Mhm.
I feel like nobody actually does that because nobody, I think, actually has gone back to actually watch like all of Teen Titans. I say this because
Yeah.
Teen Titans is like my favorite show. I'm a very like passionate Titans fan. But here's the thing: I think nobody talks about. The writers never actually intended like for there to really be another season. You know why? Because the main reason they wanted to end it off with Beast Boy running to the light is because they wanted to represent a teen finally being able to grow up and grow out of that like childhood state of like wanting the desires of someone. I don't know how to describe it. There's like a whole
Yeah, with
interview with
like
Cyborg's voice actor like discussing it,
the shit with
but
Terra and everything.
yeah, like it's basically supposed to be some um. It's basically supposed to be poetic for a teenager growing up and going into adulthood, finally letting go of the past and all the other things that hold them back from moving on to the future. That was like the whole point of the finale, but everyone usually kind of forgets that.
Mhm.
Which I can't blame them, but I
Yeah,
also don't think
the
that the show really
execution
needs
is
to
a
come back.
bit odd, but
Yeah,
it's not.
but I don't. I wouldn't say it's perfect because there are some like cliffhangers, such as who was Red X and how did Slade come back. That
Yeah.
like if the show ever did came back, I feel like that would be the focus. But as for every character arc in the original Teen Titans, they all their arcs practically concluded in some way. I feel like no one also talks about that as well. And a lot of people say that,
Yeah.
well, maybe Starfire can get her season. Starfire was not only didn't have much of a she wasn't written to be as interesting as the other group because she's from another world. Plus, we already had enough episodes that like show us going to other worlds, and Blackfire is already in prison, so I don't know how you could
Mhm.
write another season like discussing that again. And we also
Yeah.
had like a whole episode for Starfire talking about racism, all that kind of stuff. So all their arcs concluded in a meaningful way. I just went on flash. I just went on for me just rambling about Teen Titans for a second. But yeah. In conclusion, uh, I love cartoons.
Yeah, dude. I'm I'm hoping someday. Like, oh fuck, I don't know how much I should
Yeah.
talk about this, but it's
Or
fine. Nothing has come of it yet. But I
Mhm.
recently I put in an application to work as a storyboard artist for Smiling Friends. So
Oh yeah,
I'm
I was
really
gonna bring this. I was
Yo,
gonna bring this up to you, Erica. I forgot.
Smiley friends.
We haven't
yeah,
had.
I'm really hoping that I haven't heard back from them yet. But it hasn't really been very long. It's been like 4 days.
Yeah, that's
And
probably gonna.
I imagine
Oh,
they got a shit ton of applications.
nah,
So
bro.
hoping I hear
When I
back.
heard
If I
Smiley
don't,
friends,
it's whatever.
I'm
But
rooting for
like,
you.
Remember
yeah,
us
I'm
when
rooting
you
for
get
you too.
accepted?
Yeah, please remember us.
I'm
I adore
hoping.
Smiling friends with a
I'm
passion.
absolutely gonna remember you fucks. But like, man, I'm really hoping something comes from it
I
because
really
like
hope
not
it
only
too.
because I like Smiling Friends a lot and I love to work on it, but because getting a job, a spot at Adult Swim is like a dream for me. Because that
That
is one
sounds
of
like a
the
dream.
few networks that like isn't actively hostile to work at, from what I hear.
That and just they pretty much let you just do anything for the most
Hmm.
part.
Yeah, because
Bro, Smile Friends sounds so fun. Oh my
it
god.
I'm hoping. I made a Nico and Liam, you guys both know about this. You guys have
I read
seen
it
the
and
end.
watched it.
Yeah, you guys have seen the end product.
I
I
love the
made
script so much. The script's
Yeah,
really
I
funny.
wrote up a custom
Yeah,
script for a Smiling Friends bit, like with Pim and
yeah.
Charlie, and made
What is
a
it?
storyboard for it
Yeah.
and did like some really basic voice acting, just to like put the point across and edited it all
You should have
together.
had me
And
do it. You should have had me be Charlie.
I considered asking someone else to help out, but I was like, I was running low on time, and was like, I got to get this shit out.
Nico would be a good
and
Charlie voice. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I barely tried with the Charlie voice because I know I can't do the fucking Zach Hadel
Yeah,
voice.
yeah, that voice is way too iconic. I don't think anyone can do
Yeah,
that.
but Pim, I just put on like a quick little British accent, and to distinguish them.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'll send you the video
I
after.
really
after
want.
I
I
love the opening
passionately
bit.
love Smiling Friends. I've watched Smiling Friends at least 4 times.
Yeah,
Like
something
I
I
really like Smiling Friends.
something I mentioned to Nico is that one of the
Yeah.
best parts about working in the entertainment industry is that I sat down and binge watched everything about Smiling, like the full Smiling Friends series again,
Oh my
in
god.
preparation for the project, and it was 100% a useful use of my time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my god. Oh, bruh. I think about Smiling Friends made me think of this one thing I saw on TikTok. It was like it was doing a TikTok meme, and then it showed Pim as Makima. And I was like, wait, why is Pim? Why is he Makima? And I realized, oh wait, the fucking I love kids.
I
Wait,
love I love
I love
kids,
kids,
Charlie.
Charlie.
I
I
love
love kids. I was
kids.
like, oh, that's why. It's like, wow, that's such a clever joke. Oh my god.
God.
Oh, good. Bro, working for Smiley Friends sounds like a dream job. I really
It
hope you get it.
yeah, it was fun to. It was very fun to write for them. Like Pim and Charlie are very like they're good
I,
characters. They're really
I like
good.
how they're like I like that they're literally probably the closest example like ever of what like an actual friendship or conversation between like two people
Yeah,
like actually would be.
it's so good. Like how like weirdly authentic they feel. And that was like
Dude, the
something
way
that
that
was
they like even cut each other like,
yeah.
fucking makes me
That was
laugh.
one of the things that was really fun to write for when I was doing the mock script was like it
Yeah.
was it was one really challenging to script something like that because it flows so like such a natural conversation. And
Yeah.
two, it was really fun because I haven't done something like that before where it's like the script is like intentionally the
Setting.
conversation, yeah, it's intentionally like the conversation goes to them like talking over each other by accident
Oh my
or
god.
like just like repeating shit because like they didn't get their point across properly. It's like it's it's such
God,
a
bruh.
different
It's
way to
such a
write characters interacting that's
Because,
really fun.
I seen a video recently about like Quentin Tarantino, how he writes his scripts, or how like the dialogue is usually like always like proper and like constantly going back and forth
Mhm.
between two characters talking without any interruptions. Wow. while, while like in real life, it's not like that. I
Yeah,
think Smiling Friends probably the best example of what that actually is like
yeah,
in real life.
because like that's the thing when you normally do script writing, you want it to be easy to follow and like flow super well, which is why people don't have characters like stumble or talk over each other very often,
Yeah.
unless if they're like actively arguing. But like with smiling friends, it's just straight up no, they'll be having a casual conversation. Someone will get excited and butt in and be like, "Oh wait, sorry, you weren't done. Go, please continue. I'll bring up my point later." And it's like it's so
Uh,
or like with the Halloween episode where Mr. Boss is explaining to Pim about like don't like about the force and he's Pim just says like yeah okay and then Mr. Boss doesn't hear him like wait what'd you say. It's such a nothing it's such a nothing interaction that adds nothing to the story but is really funny
it's
because of
yeah,
the
it's like
fact
it's
that it
part of the
doesn't need to
charm.
be there but is entirely
Yeah,
accurate to real life conversations.
like it's like it's part of the charm that makes it funny. It's just like it's
Yeah.
so I don't know how to describe it. It's just like wow, this is actually like what actually happens.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um, I
it's
think
the contrast between how realistic and down to earth the conversations are and how fucking ridiculous and absurd the situations are.
yeah, I think what makes it even funnier too, right? Remember the vacation episode or
The
special?
Brazil one, yeah.
Yeah, the Brazil one. Like, yeah, like in fiction, like you get like those random cutaways of like someone interrupting each other, but it's still like super dramatic or on key to
Mhm.
like so the audience can follow it. Wow, fucking that fucking Brazil special, it was like an actual argument. Just people constantly talking over each other. Like they were all constantly talking over each other.
Yeah,
Like
and they'd be like,
constantly.
all right, let's just like calm down, let's explain, and then like immediately someone would say something, it would go like two back and forths, and then someone would interject, and the argument would start up all over again. Again, that's exactly what happened.
I'm just like, this is the like. How do you? I'm not kind of. I was just like, wow. How do you guys not even mess up how to like do arguments? Like those are actual how arguments. But oh god, I think that's really just part of the charm. I hope for season
100%.
2 they really just don't get rid of that because it's like the funniest
I'm
part to me.
100% positive they won't because of the guidelines for submission, uh,
Yeah.
which was one of the things they were said that they were looking for with storyboard artists is
Mhm.
a ability to storyboard a casual talking scene and make it
Oh yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Which and they said specifically put anything stylistically in line with season one. So
yeah.
it's going to be more of the same in the best way
So,
possible.
I'm so happy about that. I really hope we get more episodes too.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
guessing that they probably have most of the script outlines done if they
yeah,
already know what they're looking for with borders. But also, I I can imagine that they just have an idea and probably have a few script outlines, but not everything. So
yeah. I definitely do feel like they'll still also choose a couple people that actually probably submitted to them
yeah,
about these kind of ideas.
yeah,
And probably even get them on board.
I imagine that they like of all teams that are in like the big animation
Yeah,
industry, I'd imagine that the Smiling Friends team is most likely to hire new talents because of the
yeah.
origins of the show and its creators. Like
That and just
basic.
like yeah, and that and just like their creators are so chill. Like they're
Mhm.
so chill about everything too,
Yeah,
which I
so
also add to it.
I'm hoping, but I know for a fact I'm definitely gonna have some steep competition because I mean it's fucking Smiling Friends.
Is it fucking? I I don't think
uh,
anyone was really expecting how popular the show got. Like
I'm really
even
happy it
Adult Swim
got as popular as
themselves
it did.
was like really surprised by it.
Hmm. Yeah, like I'm really happy it's doing as well as it is because it hopefully means that like more internet creators are gonna get a shot at making something with like an actual studio budget, which
I hope so.
could result in some absolute garbage. It has in the past, but like
Yeah, it definitely will. It's like no,
you've
like it
also
definitely
got
guarantees
shit
that.
like you've also got shit like In Space with Markiplier, which is like
Yep.
insanely high production value and really well
Whoa.
written.
Yeah. I, I,
Uh,
I, I like when you said that, right? What's
mhm.
this one show? I remember it was like by a YouTuber, but it got can't. Final Space. I
Yeah,
remember.
Final
Yeah,
Space.
yeah. When you said that, I was like, wait the fuck, you made it. That show got beat to the ground because of literally adults. Wait, it wasn't Adult Swim or was it on something else? I forgot.
I think it was on HBO Max. I think it was an HBO Max
Yeah,
original,
like
but I
HBO
might be
Max
wrong.
basically swapped them over because I remember the creator himself, right?
Mhm,
He wanted the show to not really focus on any like comedic side. Like he wanted more clever jokes, but he wanted the show to mostly be dark. But
mhm.
they were like, no, actually, we're gonna we need a lot more jokes because this is adult like this is an adult animated show, so we need like as many jokes as you can put in there. So and because of that, he had to like force so many jokes into the show, which like affected the quality. And I was just like, that's so sad,
Yeah,
bro.
'cause I've heard season 2. I haven't watched Final Space, but I've heard season 2 where he had more creative control was such an
Yeah,
increase in quality. And it's like
Yeah,
that makes me so pissed to hear because it's like you fucking suits. You are
I
not the
really want
creatives.
to
You
tell
are
you this thing
hiring
out
these
of
people
context.
because they are
Yeah.
more creative than you. So let them
Like,
do their job and be creative.
yeah, like, oh my god, like this is one thing, right? Okay, there's one character, he got trapped in somewhere, he got trapped for like maybe I forgot how many years, but he got trapped for maybe 15, 20 years, comes back
Mm.
and is severely traumatized by it. But because of the show and how it's written or how they have to force him to written, the next episode is more episodic and he just goes back to normal.
God, that
It's
sucks.
like, wow.
Speaking of shows that are unique to certain streaming services that are adult animations and got completely
Oh,
fucked over, Nico, I know you
no,
are also passionate about this one, Inside
no,
Job.
no, 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 no. No, because here's the thing, right? I remember telling Nico, I was like, yeah, I binge watched Inside Job. No, this okay. I'm not even joking. I binge watched Inside Job, right?
Mhm.
The entire like 2 seasons that were out, right? Very happy about the show. Very happy for the future.
It's so
2 days
good.
later, Inside Job canceled by Netflix.
Yeah, no, I binge watched season 1 like either the day
Yeah,
it came out or like in the week it came out. Like it was a show I had heard about and was like that seems
yeah.
really interesting. And then I watched it all in one sitting. It was like I love it and I was like super excited for season 2, waiting for it to be announced. And then it did. And I was every single day looking forward to it. The first day it came out, binge watched all of season 2. And then Nico watched it. And I was like, hell yeah. And then Nico finished it like almost the day it got finished. He finished. It was announced that it got canceled. I'm like,
Yeah. I was also gassing up Nico too. I was like, Nico, get on Inside Job, bro. It's so good. Literally days later, it got canceled, and
it's
I was
so
so
because
devastated.
it's it's now forever in that camp of shows where it's like it's really good, but it's so hard to recommend it to people because it just doesn't have an ending.
Isn't that so cool? Isn't that so cool that Netflix
Ah,
did that? Isn't that great? Because nobody cared about it, so that's why they canceled it.
that's off
Because
on a big
clearly
fucking
people didn't
cliffhanger
care.
too. It makes me so incredibly sad. Why do they keep doing this to adult animated shows? I just don't
It's
get it.
it's because animation in general is treated like shit, and it's expected to only be popular amongst kids. And so, like, if
Oh, it
it's
makes me
not
so sad.
something, if it's not something like Big Mouth, which is super popular amongst like basically people who aren't like avid internet users.
Yeah,
It's very popular amongst the general public despite being hated online. And so it's like if it doesn't do the numbers like that, then it's just gonna
and
they won't give it a chance really, and it
and
sucks.
here's another thing that I also noticed. I don't know if you know the show Moral Oral. I feel like no
Oral, yeah,
one really. Yeah, yeah.
I'm familiar with it.
Um, there's have you noticed anything consistent when it comes to adult animated shows? How every time when an adult animated show wants to be like a super dark show, but not be a super dark show in the sense that it's a show that talks about like super dark comedy and shit.
Hmm.
It wants to tell an actual serious story. Every single time that happens, most of the time it gets canceled.
Yeah, and it's like it
That
sucks because animation is such a powerful medium to tell stories. It's one of its biggest strengths is that you can do stories and visuals that are outside of the scope of live action.
exactly, and that's
And it's
why I adore animation.
yeah, and then
Um,
like every medium has its strengths, but animation because it has this stigma of that it's like it's just horribly attached to, especially in the West, of being exclusively for children.
for
It's
children, yeah.
it's really heavily restrained on like what it's actually able to do because like when you're making a story that is intended for uh not even just for kids but like something that anyone of any age can enjoy,
Like
including
Avatar.
kids, yeah, like Avatar, you really do have to hold back on what you can show and discuss because like obviously if it's for all ages it has to be appropriate for kids. uh
Exactly.
and it just, if you want to make something that's not appropriate for kids but is still animated, it basically just boils down to being animation that has the same style as animation for
Yep.
kids, but with edgier jokes. Which
And then if you want to tell an actual genuine story that's super dark, you can't do that, unfortunately.
yeah,
You
genuinely
have
children's
to,
animation on like Disney and Cartoon Network especially, both of those
yeah.
networks, they have better and more mature stories being told in children's animation than you see in adult animation.
Like it's
Which
actually crazy, bruh.
it sucks. It's like you could do so much more.
You could actually do. I think Avatar, because Avatar is also like is my second favorite
Yeah,
show, like next to Teen
Avatar is
Avatar,
insanely good.
yeah, Avatar will always be the best example of how to perfectly balance between being a kid show while also telling like incredibly dark shit that adults will get, such as
Yeah.
abuse and stuff like that. And I'm not even trying to say that like we should just make less kid shows overall, because kid show, we still need those shows for those younger audiences so they can appreciate animation at a younger age.
Yeah.
Um,
But like
but I also do think we need darker stories for it, like people who like those kids that grow out of it. We need darker stories. Like, we need to balance it at least. This is what I think like should happen. I can't see it happen any time in the future now, just because of just how bad it's gotten now.
Yeah, it's been
But
this is a thing if you look over the history of animation and most art forms in general, but
yeah,
animation is very noticeable with is there's up periods and down periods, and unfortunately, we are in a down period.
yeah.
There
Oh my
like
god.
the most recent like big renaissance is what I've seen most people. This isn't like anything that like actual art historians use, but like
Mhm.
people who discuss animation online call it the 2010s Cartoon Network renaissance, which was
Yeah,
Adventure Time, Regular Show, Amazing World of Gumball, and Steven Universe.
yep,
Uh, and also to a lesser extent Teen Titans Go, because like again, it's not beloved, but it is incredibly popular and is still worth mentioning in a historical context.
exactly.
Where it's like, yeah, animation fucking exploded there, and it started with those shows. Then Gravity Falls came out not too long after, along with Star Versus, and also Wander Over Yonder. Like a
And
bunch of incredible classic shows came out at that time. Uh,
yeah, along with
uh,
shows like for Nick, I think it was like Korra and Korra. Oh yeah, Korra and TMNT, like those shows.
yeah, those
Also
came
for
out.
Nick.
Yeah, which they're a lot less popular, but they're still really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I do truly think that
Korra has the
Nick.
unfortunate situation of having to live up to Avatar, which it was never going
Mhm.
to do. So
Yeah,
people
it was
shit
never
on it a
going to
lot,
do
but it's not bad. It's just not as good as
It
Avatar.
sucks.
that. I think
What's
for
wrong,
me,
Nico? Wait,
what?
I'm fucking kidding.
Nico, I just heard you go, fuck.
Yeah, I was like, scared for a second. Like, yo, what?
the
Is it because we mentioned TMNT?
the push to talk mic goes crazy. I just after you were like, Korra has to live up to Avatar, but it's not bad, and I just yelled
My
out
my
it.
man's got Vietnam flashbacks when
I
I said
just I just
Avatar.
I just yelled out it sucks. You know,
I thought you just yelled fuck really loudly.
I thought you did too. I'm right below you.
Like, I get you like right, but Jesus, Avatar too. Like,
nah, I haven't finished Avatar.
but
Yeah, we know.
yeah,
But you
when
haven't.
Korra first
Okay,
came
okay.
out,
To be fair, the finale of Avatar, I like it, but the
it left on
resolution,
a big
it's
cliffhanger.
it's a big ass. It's been around for forever, so I can probably spoil what happens. But the fucking Aang gaining the power to take away Fire Lord Ozai's bending is kind
Yeah.
of disappointing. I feel like
Mhm.
it's like it's a good resolution for Aang,
Yeah.
and it fits his character super well. Like there's no way he would have done anything else. It's also a very fitting punishment for Ozai. The problem I
Yeah.
have with it is that there was absolutely no build up to the fact that something the Avatar could do. Like,
All right, I hear
Yeah.
you. I hear you. I think you're fucking stupid, but I hear you.
all right.
Damn, got straight to the point. But I get, yeah, I get what you mean. I really do feel like it kind of got a little even worse with when you learn about the first Avatar in Korra, but it's a whole other can of worms. I think
I
the
never finished Korra. I
first
watched a
finale
bit
for
of it.
me has always been not really learning about Zuko's like mother.
Yeah.
We just kind of just left off on that. Didn't get anything until the comics, which the comics didn't even really come out until
I
Korra
forgot
was
there was
airing.
comics. I haven't read any of those.
Yeah, the comics are actually really important to the Avatar lore, but they came out during when Korra was like Legend of Korra was airing, so they tie into Legend of Korra as well.
That
But
I generally think that Nickelodeon is the worst of the three big like kids
easily,
animation networks of Nick, Cartoon Network, and Disney. But like
easily.
Nick is amazing with their comics. Like
Oh,
the
for sure.
Avatar ones, Invader Zim, like those are the two big ones. But like
They literally pop off with comics for no reason. It's like kind of crazy.
yeah, yeah, Nickelodeon's
Um,
definitely the one. Like they were the king of the '90s and then fell off hard.
fell off hard. Avatar came out. People loved Avatar.
Yeah,
Obviously SpongeBob.
Avatar and Invader Zim were like the end of that era. Basically, they came out
Yeah,
at around the same time in the early 2000s, and
and,
basically
and we had
kicked off the
and we
'90s
had
era.
like and we had smaller bangers. Well, we already know about SpongeBob. I don't think we really need to talk
Yeah,
about that. But
SpongeBob's their cash cow. Like, say what you want
yeah,
about it having gotten worse over the seasons, it still has good episodes every now and then. Like,
yeah,
it's
and they
definitely
obviously
gotten
had their
worse, but
smaller like bangers, which is what kept them relevant, such as Danny Phantom and Jimmy. Not I should say Jimmy Neutron. Wait, yeah, Jimmy Neutron. Like those two shows also help
and
the like
fucking
what else? Oh yeah, Fairy Odd Parents too. I forgot about that.
Harvey
Like
Beaks.
I
Yeah.
like those shows kept it relevant for a
Damn.
while. But those also
Harvey
did
Beaks.
fall off.
Harvey Beaks is so good. That show got
Yo,
done dirty.
No, I've never heard anyone talk about Harvey Beaks. This is
Yeah,
insane.
fucking Craig
I don't think the show
McCracken
ended.
got got
Harvey Beaks
absolutely
is such an
shat on.
underrated gem.
It's so
Okay,
good.
bro.
It's really
Nah,
good
bro. When
for
I
no
was
reason.
younger,
Except
bro.
the reason is that Craig McCracken made it. Wait, was it Craig McCracken? No, it wasn't Craig
I
McCracken.
forgot.
I forget his name. It's the guy who made Chowder. Craig McCracken
Oh,
is
I don't remember.
Foster's Home and Wander Over Yonder.
Yeah, but yeah, because I remember watching Harvey Beaks during because Korra was also airing at that time during Harvey Beaks, and I fucking remember I'm pretty sure for Harvey and Korra they put their last couple of episodes on the website, and I had to
Yeah.
like use the family computer to watch the finale of both those shows. Very sad, but as one thing I do want to talk about Korra real quick is that even though because when I first but for me, when I first watched Korra, like when I was younger, when it was first coming out, I was already a big fan of Avatar. I owned like all three seasons in DVD form. So Korra lived up to expectations. When I first watched it, I was like, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. I actually do like the show. Then I got older, came like had a better understanding of storytelling. I was like, maybe I don't like Korra as much as I do. Maybe I hate the show. Then I got older again, appreciate the show again, and now I think Korra, like as a show, I personally put it at like an 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I've had that exact experience with so many things I can't even say. But like I'll
it's
be a
not
kid.
bad.
I'll really like something, and then I'll get and then I got a bit older. I was like middle school or high school, and then I was
Yeah,
like, this is kind of lame. It's kind of cringe. I don't really care about
You're
this
lame.
anymore. And then like
Yeah.
early college, I was like, I'm gonna go back and revisit some of this shit, and it's like, what the hell? This is fire. Like,
I feel like the older you get, especially with like shows like Korra, I guess, the older you get, the better on like you gain like a better understanding of the show as a whole, and understand that it's not trying to be Avatar. Well, even though it is like a sequel to Avatar, it's trying to still do its own thing.
Yeah, it tried
Which
to
is
do
why,
something different.
yeah, which is why I was like, yeah, I can't see this conclusion. Not saying that I love everything about it. Some shit is very stupid to me still, but that doesn't like make me like the show, dislike the show any less. Yeah, I guess that is sequels as a whole though. When it comes to like
Yeah,
animation forms, you'll never live up to like the original and shit. But I guess
it's
is the same case for Teen Titans Go to an
yeah.
extent.
Teen Titans Go. I'm gonna get
No,
shit for
I'm
this. Like,
gonna
I don't like
I'm
Teen
gonna
Titans
say
Go. I want to say
oh
it's not a show that I really like that much. I think it's
yeah
more annoying than it is funny most of the time. But I will
yeah
stand by. It has a few really funny episodes and jokes and like less funny episodes that are really good. And
yeah
it was really overhated because of the fact that it wasn't what people wanted it to be. But it was trying to be an
exactly.
entirely
I've always
separate
been
thing
saying this.
that like it actually does decently well. Now, of course, in later seasons they started like basically like shit talking their own audience
Yeah,
and it's like that's the shit where it's like, okay, yeah, now you actually are just like living up to the shit people were saying at the start.
it was like funny
Uh,
maybe once or twice as a reference, but
mm.
you could really tell it was
They got
being overdone.
it was yeah, they got petty with it, and like they were doing it just to
Yeah.
get a rise out of people, which people kept taking the bait. Uh,
That's what happened
but
with
like
Rick and Morty.
yeah, that
Rick and
all
Morty.
happened with Rick and Morty. Uh,
I've always said this. I like Teen Titans Go, but I'm not a fan of Teen Titans Go. I just don't mind it
mhm. Yeah,
because I just accept that it's not trying to be like 2005. It's just kind of its own shit, just a parody. Now
yeah,
it has some absolutely horrible episodes. I'm not gonna lie. Some of
but
those
it also
episodes are
has some. It has a
horrible.
few pretty good parodies of superhero
Some
plotline.
of those parodies are funny to me. I still think one of my favorite parodies from that show was the fucking Let's Get Serious parody. With like when they crossed over with like the Young Justice show. That
Yeah,
shit still makes me laugh to this day because
yeah,
it's so fucking funny.
I remember that one.
How
Yeah.
like serious DC shows can like take themselves at times. It's very funny. In the grand scheme of things, and
Yeah.
also yeah, like I don't know. I don't hate it as much as I used to. Back then, I used to really despise the show, but I feel like after I just got older, accepted it is what it is, and actually appreciate some of the episodes, I was like, yeah, I don't really hate this. I'm not a fan of it personally.
Yeah, when
It's not like I hate it.
I went on like a lesser version of that pipeline we were just talking about with Teen Titans Go, where like when it first came out
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I liked it a lot. And then
Yeah.
I did genuinely just kind of age out of it. At the same
Yeah.
time that like a lot of like internet people and like cartoon reviewers were like really shitting on it, and I kind of like got abducted into the hive mind of like, oh, it's bad. And then like I went back and watched a few episodes, like, it's not great, but it's really not as bad as people were saying. It's like
Yeah.
I get why younger me like this. I'm not a fan of it still, but like
Yeah.
I understand the appeal. It's trying to be its own thing, and like
I
it's not.
swear you and me have like the same mentality when it comes to Teen Titans Go. Like,
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, like I'm not a fan of the person. I probably wouldn't watch this like all the time
yeah. No, like
or like talk about it all the time. But I can
if it
appreciate
was the
why
only show I was
someone would
able
like
to watch, I'd fucking hate that. It'd be awful.
it.
But like if it just happened to come on and like I had nothing better to do, and it'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, I might as well see what's going on depending on the episode. I'll hear you out.
Yeah, heavy
Some of those
emphasis.
jokes actually has made me bust out
Heavy
laugh.
emphasis on depending on the episode.
Yeah,
That is
I
a show that
I swear, one of my favorite like meta. Well, it's not meta, but it's like a meta joke to like DC itself or the Robin. Say hello to Dick.
Yeah.
That was one
Uh,
of the funniest fucking jokes to me.
Though I will say
Never say
the,
thing.
the Lego Batman movie is is the
Fiction?
superior parody of DC.
Oh my god, I love the Lego Batman movie. Oh my god. It was actually my favorite Batman movie for a minute, I'm not gonna lie. It's so fucking funny. I like
It's
how
a
much
good
it
one.
carries DC. And I love the idea of no. I remember this joke in the movie where it's like, my name is Richard, but everyone at the orphanage
Yeah.
calls me Dick.
Kids
And I
can
was
be
like,
so
Children
cool.
can be cruel.
Yeah.
That's a banger of a line.
My name is Richard Grayson, but all the kids at the orphanage call me Dick. Yeah, kids can be cruel.
and yeah, Teen Titans Go, they have jokes like that too, but
Mhm.
the only way you'll be able to get it is if like you're I guess a bigger like DC fan, right? Because
Mhm.
okay, so there's this one Teen Titans Go episode, right, where they all go to the Batman mansion, right,
Mhm.
and
I
they
remember.
make like a bunch of jokes about it. But this joke, I did not expect them to actually make, just because of how dark this Batman story is. It was okay, so this is an infamous comic called All Star Batman, right?
Oh
I don't know if you ever
god.
seen a comic book page of Batman calling Robin I don't know if I can say the R word. You know what I mean?
Okay,
A re, if you will.
I think I know what panel you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So they referenced that comic because in Teen Titans Go, Batman Robin lives in like this little like house or like little like room where he eats rats and shit. And I was like, no fucking way, no.
I think that one of my
Oh my god.
favorite, like, absurdly dark jokes that's in Teen Titans Go piece of
Yeah.
media is in the movie when they're like, "Oh, shit, we undid all the superheroes' origin stories, so they want to be superheroes, so that they make our
Oh
movie."
my god.
And then they're like, "Oh well, shit, now we got to make all them superheroes again." And
Oh
Robin
my
fucking
god.
pushes Batman's mom into the alleyway
Bro,
immediately.
you have
There's
you
gunshots
have
and
no idea
screaming.
how hard I laughed when I saw that for the
It's
first time.
it's a really funny joke. And it just comes out of nowhere. They don't elaborate on it, and it's just they move on, and
Oh
that's
my
so
god. This
funny.
reminds me of that time when I was younger when they first went to the Batcave and Snatch Go. I saw it in the background, it had Jason's ashes. I was like, what?
God,
That's
Yeah,
fucking funny.
Teen Titans Go is some absolute fucking gold.
yeah, that's the thing.
Oh my
It's Teen Titans Go to me is actually very similar to modern SpongeBob, where the show overall I would say
god.
is not good, but dear God, it has some bangers. Like
But
whether it's a single gag
this
or like an entire episode that's just really good for some reason. Like
like there could be a lot of misses, but fuck, when they hit, that shit made
yeah.
me fucking giggle. I was like, what?
Mhm.
That's me with modern SpongeBob to an extent, yeah.
Mhm.
Because not all of modern SpongeBob is bad. They do have some actual
Yeah,
bangers
they've
at
got some
times.
really good episodes and jokes. But
But
like overall, I'd say the show is not good. But
yeah, I agree. But holy fuck, that
there's
Robin joke
definitely
was crazy.
there's definitely worse animated shows than modern SpongeBob and Teen Titans Go, which are like two
Yeah,
of the big punching bag shows where it's like they're not again, I agree, they're not good most of the time, but like they're nowhere near as
as
consistently
bad
bad
as
as
something like
other shows.
any Family Guy
Yeah,
ripoff.
as like Paradise PD or like
Yeah.
Breadwinners or I don't know, I can't think of
Like,
another
yeah, I could still
example.
see why someone would hate it, but I don't think it's as bad as like people are letting on to an extent. I can see why someone would dislike it. I'm not gonna front them on that or like disagree because everyone has their own like viewpoints of how they view a show and it's comedy.
Mhm.
But man, sometimes you just gotta let it go. At least for Teen Titans Go standards, because that show's been on for how long now, and people still haven't let it go. Is kind of
It's
crazy to me.
old. It's an old show. And part of
Yeah,
the reason that people hated on it so much, and this is warranted, is the way that Cartoon Network just went so hard on it with like
yeah,
ripping
they
it
did a
up
lot of promotion
everyone's
for it.
ass. Like
Yeah,
it was unavoidable. So like
like if you
I
were
think
on
that
Cartoon Network at that time, they had at least a trailer for that show.
Yeah, I think that's
All
what
the
I think that
time.
amplified why people hated it so much because it was like it was before streaming was like as big as it is now. A lot of people still
Yeah,
use cable, and like if you just used cable, you couldn't avoid it. Like,
and another reason is that the official creators never actually at that time they never actually stated why the original show ended. So a lot of literally the biggest rumor of all time that's like not actually true is that the original show ended because Teen Titans Go replaced it. That was never the case at all.
yeah, that's absolutely not the case. That kind of shit comes up all the time from people who don't know how the industry works. And like,
Exactly.
yeah,
That was one of the biggest rumors that were spread. It's still spread to this day, by the way. A lot of people
I
still think this,
God,
which is insane to me because you actually do your research, look into the
yeah,
actual creators, the voice actors. They will
it's
literally
not
tell
even
you
made
otherwise.
by the same people.
It's not made by the same people, so I don't know why people would just assume that.
The voice act, I think a lot
Um,
of the voice actors are the same, but I'm not even sure about that. Like, they sound
yeah.
the same, but they
Oh
a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of
All the
voice
voice
actors.
actors, all of them
Okay,
are the same from the original, except for I'm pretty sure literally the only different one I'm pretty sure was Bumblebee. She was or B.
that makes sense.
She's
Yeah,
the only one in that show that I think has a different voice actor, but everyone else literally is like the they all return from the
yeah.
original. Wait, no,
'Cause I
that's a
was
lie,
gonna
that's a lie,
say
that's a
they're
lie.
either all the same voice actors or they managed to get a team of really good impersonators or
That's a lie. One I
impressionists.
forgot the most prominent character that got a like voice actor change is Wally or Kid Flash.
Yeah, I forgot about
Yeah,
him.
Kid Flash was voiced by the Flash from Justice League Unlimited and the original, and now he's voiced by like Impulse's voice actor from Young Justice in the show. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that for a second because I really hate the idea of spreading cartoon rumors because it only just increases,
Yeah,
I guess,
it's
more
it's
toxicity.
yeah, it's one of those things where this is another thing that comes up super often, and like I get
Yeah,
this one. It comes from a place of like frustration, but it's the whole
yeah,
thing of like X is getting canceled, but Big Mouth is getting another season. It's like, yeah, that's frustrating, but it's completely unrelated. Like
yeah. Like
it's like
I
it's not the same teams. It's not a situation of it's either or. They were always going to do it
exactly.
this way. Like
I
it's not. I
I
don't.
think it's just like the thing of like, how can something that's so high quality be canceled?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's the
really
thing.
And
It's like
things,
I understand the mentality
and
of
I
it,
get that,
but it's like a
but
lot of I see a lot of people like basically blame the other shows existing.
Big Mouth for existing
Yeah,
for the reason why they still got canceled, which is so stupid to me.
I remember.
I remember I said this
I
once.
forget what it was, but it was something
Yeah,
with like something got canceled at the same time as like the Boss Baby was getting a second season or something, and
oh,
like a lot of people were like saying that they canceled it in favor of Boss Baby, which like that's not what happened. It wasn't the Boss
that's
Baby's fault.
literally
You
not
don't
what
have to
happened.
watch the Boss Baby. You don't have to like the Boss Baby, but it's not Boss Baby's fault. Don't give him that. Like,
And people do that so much. I remember I think I brought up that same thing. I said that, well, Big Mouth's getting another season. I only said that not because I hate Big Mouth. I actually don't really care about Big Mouth enough to really like have it in a relevant conversation. The only reason I think I've ever said that was just because I just wanted to understand the reason why they just keep canceling like shows that have like serious like stories along with like comedy mixed with it rather than like a full comedic show. Because I was about to bring up the subject as like why because I was talking about this with my friend in like last podcast and why they keep canceling like these big shows that tell like a cohesive story. But while you more like episodic kind of shows use that like focus more on like jokes and shit, they usually like get better perception. And we already had that conversation about why that's the case and all that and all that. But yeah, I hate the idea of like people just blaming one show purely for the reason why their
yeah,
show that they particularly like got canceled. That's
yeah,
so
and
stupid to me.
don't don't get me wrong. Big Mouth is a show that genuinely frustrates me. Like, it's not even anything about like, oh, I think the show's bad. It pisses me off because the concept behind it is so unbelievably strong. There's so many good stories and metaphors you could do with the like it's a puberty monster concept. And
Yeah.
they just don't. They just
Like,
put the concept out there so no one else can do anything with it. And just
oh
they
my
just don't
God.
acknowledge they don't do anything with it. It makes
Well,
me
and they like
irrationally upset because I really, really like the idea of
and they like to
an
be
adult
like
animated show that tackles
yeah
the weirdness of puberty and the idea of using a literal monster in your head as a metaphor for like hormones and shit.
yeah.
That's such a good idea, but they just didn't do
And
anything with it.
and like my least favorite thing about it is how they like want to be so meta about it. Like they do like a really unique concept that's only unique to the show. Like the characters would say something super meta to brag about how they're the only show that did it or did it first and shit. I'm just like, wow, wow.
So frustrating.
It's so funny to me to an extent. Oh my god. Big Mouth in and of itself is just a crazy show. I cannot finish even season one.
All right.
It was very uncomfortable to watch.
We are 2 hours over, or 2 hours and 10 minutes
shit.
in. So
Yeah,
I think
2
it's a
hours
good.
over.
That's a good.
What the
That's
hell?
a.
I was
My
about to say,
My
we haven't
fault.
been talking about Big Mouth for that long.
That animation segment went on for a long time.
Sure fucking
Yeah,
did.
what's
But I
the
think
next topic, Nico?
That's probably the longest one we
I
had.
just want to let that sit in silence for a bit. I was gonna. Honestly, I could make this go long. This can go longer. If there's more shit to talk about, I don't mind
I'm fine
extending
either
this.
way.
We still got more stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
I don't have
I'm
anything
fine
off the
either way.
top of my head.
I've got work to do, but I can do that. Like, it's not time relevant. So
Right,
like,
right. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I don't have much off the top of my head.
Actually, I'm gonna finish playing this. But yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing. Unless anyone else. Anyone else
Sorry.
does. I should have interrupted Big Mouth.
And the only things I had to say were things relevant to the conversation like an hour ago about the Nintendo Direct. Like, hey, like, anyone excited about like Etrian Odyssey?
No.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Yeah.
My headset came unplugged for a minute.
Pikmin 4 though.
What's that?
Pikmin 4. Pretty good.
Anyway, watch Avatar.
Don't do that. Actually,
watch him.
Oh wait, actually, I want based Red PLP. You know, I love Pokemon Adventures.
Yeah,
Adventures. It's
No,
so
no,
good.
no. You're gonna hate why they've got it on.
Yeah, it's
Mom, you haven't read a single fucking page of Pokemon
That's not
Adventures.
true. That's
No
not
way.
I have read some of Pokemon Adventures. I haven't read much of it, but I have read it.
Which parts? Which parts?
I don't fucking remember. It was a long time ago.
Alright, this bastard's only got it on because their fucking boyfriend has a blue PFP.
Yeah. He likes to do matching profile pictures.
They're fucking losers.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I like the Ash's
I fucking hate
immediate
queer people,
takeaway.
Liam, you're queer.
What do you mean you hate queer people, Liam? You're fucking
Yeah,
projecting.
Liam, this is some real self-destructive behavior.
I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. Don't lump me.
Alright,
don't lump me in with you.
Liam
people.
pretending no one's watching when he's polishing his Marth ring.
Look at General. Look at this GIF I'm about to send. This is Leo.
That is him, Your Honor. That is him.
That's not me.
That is
That's not me.
God.
Just like me. Not so. The only person who's not like likes men
Yeah.
here is Nico. It's a
Yeah,
shame.
What the
sorry.
fuck are you talking? If I'm gay, Nico is a fucking.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Nico, you are so unbelievably closeted, even to yourself, because the moment alcohol enters your system,
I puke.
This
no,
man is a
you start fucking cooming for men.
Not true. Your Honor? Take away this
Mm,
witness?
it's literally true, but
Nico,
okay.
you are the most closeted bisexual I know.
That is definitely a false.
Because like
This nigga
the thing is,
always
I've seen how excited you get about anime women. I've seen you get way too hyped about that to possibly be gay, but you are absolutely bi and just in denial about it.
Why does everyone say
not
that?
even serious. This is insane. You eat
Um,
the whole Fruit Loop,
I
bruh.
deny that fact
This
is I am me and you are not me.
Okay.
There's my
man
evidence.
a whole fruit can, bro. This is insane. Now listen, Nico, I can help you, bro.
No.
At first, I ain't like men either, but then I was like, wow,
Man,
they are cool. And then I was like, boom, and then bam, and then now I'm in a relationship. This is horrible.
yeah.
Damn, that's
You get
crazy.
it.
Well, I won't because I've never been in a relationship and odds are very
And why
low,
is
so
that,
I
Your
will
Honor?
never be
I
gay.
just also I gotta say, this is a thing that people talk about a lot, but I can say with 100% certainty, it's true. The art student to gay pipeline is unavoidable.
Oh my
Like,
god, he's not wrong.
no, straight
This is
up.
why I'm a science
Again,
major.
at there are like
Mhm.
I've met like maybe 2 straight people at my college.
Oh my god.
Okay, I should clarify. Like 2 straight cis people.
Straight.
Because like everyone else is like somewhere on the LGBTQ spectrum. Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Oh
Just the
my
concentration
god.
of queer people here. But like,
It's so fucking funny.
yeah.
But Nico, we're not trying to pressure you into it.
Yeah, we're just saying. Just putting in our 2 cents.
Who's we?
Put it in our 2
Okay,
cents.
well, Liam might be pressuring you, but
Yeah, I need to be the straightest person in the room.
Bro, I gotten so many times where someone has told me that I am the straightest gay person.
what does that mean?
It's like yeah, I'm gay, but I don't like to like talk about it at all or some shit. Because a lot of people, like a lot of gay people, do like to like talk about, like oh yeah, I'm gay, like their sexuality and shit. Meanwhile, I'm just like, it's just like a normal thing to me.
Yeah, like
And I
yeah.
never bring it up in like any kind of conversation really at all. And
Oh yeah, because
yeah,
like
some people,
if it doesn't come up, it doesn't come up. There's no reason to mention it. But
yeah, it's like no reason to like talk about just randomly about it, which is why I've got that title. And I was fucking laughing. That got to be the most accurate title.
God,
Nico, finish Avatar, please.
yeah,
One day.
you should finish Avatar,
I,
Nico.
Happened?
I told wait actually I forgot to tell you. I told Liam this. I 1,000% think Nico's favorite character will be Ira.
Iroh's
I've
so
said
good.
this to him like 5 billion fucking
What
times.
the fuck's
And I'm
Iroh?
like, you will watch this show, and you can't even. You are going. It's gonna be a challenge to make you not like Iroh. You are going to have to
Who's Iroh?
try.
Iroh,
Most likable
unironically.
characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say Iroh is unironically, I think, one of the best written characters in fiction.
That dude,
By
that dude's a fucking tearjerker every time he's on screen.
Who?
He's so good.
like the perfect uncle character. I don't know how to describe it.
He's so good.
Like
Like even if
he's
he's
not
not,
entirely good, but he's not entirely like he's not
to
entirely
me,
a bad thing either.
Iroh is one of those characters where like, even if he's not your favorite, you have to admit he is so unbelievably well written. Like,
Yeah.
like it's okay, I think, to like prefer other characters, but you have to admit he's the best written
He's
character in the
well.
show.
He's the one.
My favorite Avatar character is Zuko, right?
Yeah,
But every time I remember Zuko, I always think about how well written Iroh's chemistry is with Zuko.
yeah, because like my favorite character in Avatar is Toph. I really like Toph, but like
Yeah,
Iroh is a better written character than Toph. I just think Toph just speaks to me personally more. Like,
exactly. So I would even go on a stretch to say Iroh has roughly around the same level of development as Zuko, despite us.
100, totally. And
Like,
he's a catalyst for almost every other character's growth.
exactly. And
Like
he has
he,
literally affected everyone. Oh, actually, I can. Okay, I'll stop just because
yeah,
I,
we
I, I
can't go
still
on
want
a
Nico.
tangent.
Yeah, I want Nico to experience when
Yeah.
he gets there because God, God. Oh, bro.
I think that
Oh
everyone
God.
talking about Iroh, there's the one episode and the one scene in the one
Yeah,
episode everyone
yeah. The
knows.
one scene in one episode, I think everyone
Yeah.
literally remembers.
Because
We from the world.
it's
That-
so good. It's so good.
Oh,
Like every time, it makes me want to cry. It's
oh
so
God.
good.
Like, because my
I was
friend,
gonna
right,
say,
he was watching. Yeah.
I just gotta add something, but it's a spoiler, so I'm gonna spoiler text it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in general.
Mhm. When my friend was watching Ira, or no, when he was watching the show, I told him about that because he had no idea who that was in the honor of. So,
Yeah, that's what I was about to
so
talk
then he got
about. The
hella
episode.
emotional. He got hella emotional about it. Meanwhile, I rewatched like the scene. I can't be specific about it, but fuck, that shit made me tear up again. I was like, oh my god. Uh, uh,
It's really good.
fuck, I hate Avatar so much, man. I really do. At this point, I really do think it might be contender for my favorite show.
It's a good one. It's a good show to be someone's favorite. For me, it's
I remember that like
gotta be my favorite's
because
gotta be either Gravity Falls or Adventure Time. But
yeah, because I thought the show was already kind of like super mainstream, but it just like became even more mainstream when
yeah,
it came to
yeah,
Netflix.
yeah, like
Also,
it,
I'm genuinely shocked from the fandom. I had no fucking idea people ship Zuko and Katara. I
I'm
just
not
discovered this.
Oh,
I'm
you
not at all
didn't know?
surprised.
I
I'm not even in the
genuinely did not
fandom, and
know
that's
this.
like the
I
one of
didn't
the
know
most
about
popular
that
shit.
until it came onto Netflix. But like when I saw people talking about it, I was like, I'm not
Yeah,
surprised at all.
I feel like the chip got more popular when more people like watched it on Netflix. Because I
Yeah.
swear I've never seen many people like talk about that, or not as much as they used. Oh yeah, not as much as like it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely got more popular after the Netflix one, but the show just as a whole got more popular after it dropped again on Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
I was like,
I
Zuko and
yeah.
Katara, huh?
I've never really been one for like shipping discourse. I don't usually
Yeah,
care
same,
much about the romantic
same.
subplots in shows and
Yeah.
really hate it when romantic plot lines take the forefront of non-romance focused stories. But like
Exactly.
even still, I'm usually pretty aware of popular ships and popular shipping dynamics and tropes, and Katara and Zuko fall under so many popular ones. Like,
Yeah, they
I'm
really
not
do.
surprised at all.
I was just surprised because like a lot of like their mentalities for it is, come on, they're like haters to lovers. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, that trope.
yeah,
I was
they
like,
are a
oh,
prime example of enemies to lovers.
I was
Uh,
like, damn, I had no idea about this at all. But then again, I felt like after I read the Avatar comic, like, because well, I can't really talk about this that much, but I'll just say right now, Zuko is a horrible lover. I'll like I want to go into so much detail on why, but
I mean,
after like reading that,
we've
these are
got
by the
baggage.
writers of the show, by the way, too, and that's why I
Yeah,
know, yeah, that like if they ever somehow got together, that would be such a horrible relationship.
Yeah,
Zuko is not good at love, but
Dude's
it
got
makes
that-
sense when you
yeah,
know
you
his
can't blame
character.
him too much. Dude's got baggage, but like,
Yeah, he's got baggage. I can't blame him. But holy crap, he is bad at this. Oh
yeah.
my god.
All right.
No, no, Aang is also pretty cool too.
Yeah,
I
he's
really
good.
like Aang.
He's a good protagonist.
And Sokka is so
Sokka's
fucking funny. To
I
this
actually,
day,
I
Yeah?
just remembered this. One of the professors at my school worked on
Yeah.
Avatar
no
when it
way.
came out. He showed us, and he showed us the model reference sheets for Sokka,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. It was
Oh,
for
that's so
my,
cool.
fuck, what was the class? I think it was a character design for animation.
Yeah.
And he showed us the Sokka turnarounds as like an example of what a professional one looks like, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And it was I don't know how to describe it. But like Sokka is like probably one of the best examples I think I've ever seen ever where a character can be a comedic relief while also being the smart man, like the leader of the group kind of.
Yeah.
Like comes up with the ideas. I've never seen that implemented as well as I think I've seen like Avatar. Even with like movies and shows that talk about something like that, it has never been implemented as well as I think that's of him being like a comedic relief, but he's not a dumbass, like a full
Yeah.
dumbass.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think more shows should do that down the line of like being able to
Yeah,
implement that.
it works really well, but it's also really hard to pull off effectively. And
Yeah,
if you pull
it's
it off incorrectly, it
very hard.
sucks.
It's hard to pull off. I'm genuinely surprised how well the writers of Avatar were able to pull it off. They pulled it off super well too, because Sokka still got like character development in the show too, while being the brains and the comedic relief. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, there's so much layers to this. Well, there's layers to all the characters, and it's just like considered a kid show, quote unquote. That's just wild to me.
Yeah, that's something that 'cause I've read a lot of interviews with like showrunners and stuff because of my my line of education and hopefully future line of work. And like it's a very common sentiment with a lot of the shows that like I really like, where their creators are like, yeah, I didn't set out to make a kid show. I set out to make a show that anyone could enjoy.
Anyone
which-
could enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's the sentiment that like I feel like a lot of the times people who set out to make a show for kids, unless if they're making something like Blue's Clues, are shooting themselves in the foot. Because that means that you're admitting that you don't think that your show has longevity to people past the age of like 8.
Exactly. Hell, 90% of the time when it comes to like show writers, they usually write the show first, and then the whole like kid thing comes like as a secondary thing due to the network.
Yeah,
Like the network is usually the thing that hasn't told them to change something most of the time.
yeah. I can say that I've got multiple ideas for shows that I'd like to make at some point. Some of them are definitely shows that could not work as a show for all ages and needed a mature audience. Some of them, I've got like, I'd say there's probably two big ones, maybe three. I'd say two though, that fall into that first camp where it's like they need a mature audience. Two that could fall into a sort of middle ground where depending on the network, I could push it in either direction. And then one that definitely could work for older audiences, but I want to target it more as like a sort of like Disney Channel, Cartoon Network level of like it definitely tells a story that has like mature beats, can be enjoyed by everyone, but is still appropriate for kids. And that comes partially from the philosophy I have, which is that, well, it doesn't have to be this way. Your main character should be roughly the age of your target audience.
I agree.
And it doesn't have to be that way. Don't get me wrong. but like it's something where I think because if you're gonna have a character who's like an adult, you should tackle adult themes with them because that's one of the strengths of having an
Yeah.
adult character.
Yeah, this is
And
I guess
like
you want them to like project like the audience that's
sorta,
watching to
but it's
project
also
themselves
like
onto the character.
it's
Yeah.
also like it makes the ideas more true to life. Where like if you have a child character who you're
Mhm.
telling a coming of age story with, they're naturally by being that age going to go through a lot of the struggles that a coming of age story would come with. Which
I
is
see what you mean.
that's partly what my more like all ages oriented one is it's partially a coming of age story, but it's much more so a like generational story of like the next
Mhm.
generation living up to the previous generation and like pressures put on from that
Oh.
and having to come to terms with the fact that uh that's one of the major
You,
themes with it without getting
that's
too
the
much
thing with
into
the fact
detail
that you
because I
can't
could
live up
go on
into
about
like
this stuff for
yeah.
hours.
So it's like having to come with the fact that you can't always live up to the expectations
Yeah,
that
or
are
that
set
like you
by
can live up to the
your parents.
expectations in a different way from what was
Yeah.
expected of you. Like you can do something
Yeah.
similar but still do
Also,
it.
something similar to like how Korra tackled it in like season
Yeah,
3 and 4.
kinda. Yeah, of like and Avatar in general of like yes, there's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be people who are before you and have done incredible things, and you think that you need to do exactly what they did so that you can live up to them, but you don't need to. You can do something. You can do what they did in your own way and still be just as effective, if not better. And
Because
that's one of the
everyone
big
is different.
themes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the
I
big
love
themes
this
of
kind of
it. The
stuff.
other major theme is that there's an inherent value to life that can't be measured, but that's a much more
Oh,
like
that's a
yeah.
dark thing to tell.
Yeah,
I
that's
am
more
so fascinated.
the first arc is more related to the story arc of the protagonist, like their personal character arc.
Yeah.
The second arc, that is the arc that is correlated to the villain. The villain questions that notion, and
Oh.
that's the whole thing is that they think that life is inherently valueless, and in fact is damaging to itself and the world. Uh,
Wow.
and so their goal is to bring about a mass extinction, not out of any sort of malice, but because they just simply think that is what is best for everything.
Humanity.
Yeah,
Because they view
basically, it's a
humanity
sort of
as flawed
Ultron.
beings.
It's a sort of Ultron mentality of like the greatest threat
Yeah.
to humanity is humanity. Uh,
Humanity itself. Oh, that's such
yeah,
good, right? I love writing like that, bro.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm
Oh
hoping
my
to.
god.
That's the storyline I've had, or like the plot, like show idea I've had for the longest
Yeah.
time. The other ones are more recent, although one of them, uh, which is more of like a horror idea, is the
Oh,
second
horror.
oldest. It's it's again, I don't want to get too far into this. I'm going to cut myself off here, because
Yeah.
I could go on for hours talking about my story ideas.
It's so
But
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, I am going to cut you off.
Okay, awesome.
And end that here because I gotta get to bed. But
All right,
that was
awesome.
That was really good. That
Yeah,
was a
this
really
is
good
That was
podcast.
well,
So much
oh
fucking
man.
information. But yeah, Ashley, get on Amphibia. That's the moral of the
yes.
story.
Get on, yeah.
I'll watch it with you if you want to
Oh, bro, of course.
tomorrow.
Next time we watch something together, that shit is hilarious.
Yeah, but I'm down
Yeah,
anytime. Just let me know, and I'll watch it with you. It will be glorious to have your reactions.
oh my god, I'm not ready. I feel like I'm so not ready, especially on my.
But yeah, thank you all for joining us today, and that's the end. Goodbye.
See you
Goodbye.
guys.
Oh yeah, also
Everybody.
go. I always put the Twitter links in the description, but go
Yeah,
follow
follow me. I
Moth
need
on Twitter.
followers.
The
Gas
goal.
them up. They do epic art. It's so good. It's
Yeah.
great. It's fantastic. Go there.
And one day they'll be on Smiling Friends, and then they'll
Yeah,
be like
one
a
day.
Yeah,
million.
I'll be on
You'll be
Smiling
like,
Friends.
oh
You
my
guys
god,
can, you
I
guys
knew
can,
them.
when you guys look in the credits as a story, you'll see storyboard consultant or some shit, and you'll see me and be like, hey, I know that person from Nicozcast, and you'll
Yeah.
be cool.
Wow, that's crazy.
Nicozcast, which is notoriously way bigger than Smiling Friends ever will be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
All right. Good night.
Good night.